only 5 today? Okay.
But Fatal J, of course.
Welcome back to the Comics Aficionados live here on Think Critical YouTube, your Saturday morning delight of just 5 friends getting together and talking about comic books and whatever else comes up is finally back. Going to have a great time. We are a man down, but Jim was going to try to make it. He wasn't able to make it. He didn't want Dylan explaining stuff to him for 2 hours.
Sheesh.
Understandable. I get it.
Dylan's splaining.
But this was a surprisingly good week in comic books, Dylan. You said you had a good time with the last Halloween. You like the new Chris Condon book?
Yeah. There were several books. There's actually 3 Chris Condon books I like this week. He had like all his comics come out, and I enjoyed all of them this week.
So yeah, he had Green Arrow,
Ultimate Wolverine, and Far Down Below.
So you read Ultimate Wolverine. I gave up on that book after the last issue.
I liked the last issue. I've been enjoying each issue. Yeah. I've been having a good time with it. I like it. I thought the first issue is the best issue so far, but I've liked all 3 issues.
It was in the back of my read pile, and I never made it there.
Oh.
But this was like a bigger week because you had the Batman Hush 2 story come out. You had a couple new Absolute books. You had Absolute Wonder Woman. You had the end of the X-Men Hunt stuff. So I have to read all that stuff, and you gotta rack and stack it. I had to get my TMNT Saturday Morning Adventures in.
Understandable. I get it, but Ultimate Wolverine's good. Like if you have time, I've been enjoying it. I like it. It's one of the few Marvel books I'm reading right now.
Yeah, Marvel's a little down.
Yeah, Marvel's not doing so hot.
Did you get to read the Fartacular?
Nope, didn't read it.
Come on, it's such a thing and everything.
I figured they were better.
Read it, Dylan. You had to read it too.
You probably liked it, Sully. Who knows, dude?
You probably did.
We're gonna get there. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get Joanne Starr to unblock me on Twitter after my review.
I didn't know there was a red band of the
Sometimes not everything has a silver lining, Sully, and I think the Fartacular might be one of those things.
Do you want actual butthole?
No, not particularly.
I'm asking Sully.
That's the red band version.
You stay out of my browser history, kid.
So, Dylan, we did get Batman 158, Jim Lee returning, Jeff Loeb returning for Hush 2. I think if people think that Hush is like the greatest Batman story of all time, they'll like it. But I was very underwhelmed. I thought the art was pretty good, but not nearly as good as it was the first go around. And it felt very paint by numbers.
I thought it was a good start. I liked it. It wasn't anything amazing or the best comic you'll ever read, but I liked it. And there definitely wasn't much for Jim Lee to do. There wasn't a whole lot for him to really flex his muscles, but it looked good. But yeah, it didn't look like the Jim Lee of old or anything amazing. But I liked it, especially the bit with Hush and Joker. I thought that was great. That bit I really liked. But the rest of the book, it's like nothing amazing. But it was good. I liked it. I thought it was a good start.
I thought it was very, very in the middle. So I'm glad you enjoyed it. Sully, did you like Hush 2? Oh my god, he's eating fucking nachos.
Sorry, breakfast time. It's morning here on the East Coast.
Today the part of Fatal J will be played by Sully.
Exactly. I skipped it. It is no interest for me whatsoever.
Wait, you read the Fartacular, but you skipped Hush 2?
Because that was literally our homework. Don't you read the notes?
Who cares? Hush 2 is out.
We got a link to it. It was Wes is so nice to organize.
You don't think you could shoot from the hip on the Fartacular? You got to read it.
You got to do a sense of between the hips.
Was that a pun? Was that a pun? Shoot from the hip on the Fartacular?
Was it a scratch and sniff? I didn't see the physical copy.
Physical copy is $8, by the way.
Oh my god,
it was $8.
You know what killed me about the Fartacular though was when Marvel and DC announced their crossover, the editor-in-chief started promoting the Fartacular in the middle of that. She brought it up.
It even says Marie Javins presents.
Yes, she brought it up in the middle of like this huge thing where it's like, oh my goodness, Marvel and DC are crossing over again. She's like, she brings up the Fartacular. It's like, what are you doing?
Apparently, this is Marie Javin's fetish.
I guess it's her dream, man. It's like she's like, finally, all this time in comics, I've finally like vindicated.
You know
my
what?
time here.
You know what? Scratch and sniff fart comics are the thing to finally push people into digital.
I read it digitally, and it didn't have any problems with smelling farts or probably. I think there were some Cinnabons in there and stuff. You can probably smell those too.
Oh, I think Wes, you need to refer to it as Harley Quinn does, as blowing butt kisses.
No, I don't think I'm going to do that.
No, I don't think you should.
I hate this planet. I want to get off.
That well, I mean, that was the whole point of the Fartacular for the people that it's intended for.
Yeah.
Giggity.
So what's been going on, Dylan? You got any big videos people need to go know about? Are you doing like a Hush 2 review?
Yeah, I did my Hush 2 review. That's out. I also did a video talking about the Superman Annual number 11, comparing it to the Justice League Unlimited episode. So that was fun to do. The Alan Moore, Dave Gibbons book.
Very nice. It's very, very classic.
Yeah.
Everyone loves that. Anything else going on in the world of Star Wars? What do we need to know about? What are the young people speaking about? Because I'm so old, I'm not part of the conversation.
As far as Star Wars go, we just got Andor season 2 coming out, and that's all that's on the horizon as far as I know right now. And I hope it's good. I'm excited for it. Season 1 was really good, but who knows until season 2 comes out.
You're not excited for Mandalorian and Grogu?
No, I don't care about that at all. I couldn't care less. That's Dave.
But
I
you
don't
like
care
the
about
Mandalorian.
I liked the first 2 seasons, but that's also on a Disney Star Wars scale. On a Disney Star Wars scale, the first 2 seasons of Mandalorian is like, all right, it's pretty good. Season 3 is horrible. The last season was terrible. But it also, if you're comparing the first 2 seasons to like normal Star Wars, it's okay. So,
oh, my brother, testify.
Yeah. So that the Mandalorians in this last season was so bad.
Is
And
it
Dave
better
Filoni-
than Caravan of Courage, though?
What is that?
No, it is not.
Ewoks, Caravan of
explain to
Courage? You
Dylan
never
what
seen
Caravan
that?
of
No.
There were 2 Ewok movies.
Oh yeah. I've never seen them. I've heard of them, but I've never seen the Ewok movies.
Oh,
That was like a big
I've
thing.
seen the
I
holiday
was like,
special though. That was
Even as a
The
kid, I
holiday
was like,
special
this
was
is
bad.
this is garbage.
Yeah.
Ewok
"You're
movies.
crazy. That Caravan of Courage was fucking hot.
I have
love
both
it.
of them on my Plex server. Wes,
That reminds me of something, because I do have Doc Bluster Video, which is Doc's Plex server.
Oh yeah.
And there's this movie there. It's called Boy Kills World. I've never heard of it.
Yes.
It had like
I've
a
seen it.
kung fu kind of cover to it.
Bill
So I
Skarsgård.
started watching it. And it's pretty fucking wild, dude.
Yep. Dude, that final fight is awesome in that movie.
Well,
I have not watched it yet.
You haven't made it? Oh my goodness.
I have little kids and I have a channel and stuff. I can't just watch a movie all the way through. I'm always busy working or cooking or taking care of the kids and stuff. So I watch movies in parts, and I started it like yesterday, but I'm about 2/3 of the way through it. But I was surprised at how kind of interesting it is. It's very stylized, kind of like who's the British guy that did Snatch?
Guy Ritchie.
Guy Ritchie.
Guy Ritchie. It's like a Guy Ritchie kind of stylized, quick cuts, super violent action, kind of
Kind
weird
of like
stuff.
Rock
He's
and
got a-
Rolla.
Yeah, but it's actually kind of good. I was surprised. Did anybody else see Boy Kills World?
I have it on,
own it.
I have it on the media server. I have not watched it.
Yeah. So I would recommend it, even though I haven't made it to the final fight scene. It's pretty
Wait,
interesting.
that final fight is awesome. Yeah, it's pretty good. It bombed sadly in theaters. It's like the most expensive South African movie ever made, but it's good. I like it.
Yeah. Why did you never mention this before? I'm looking for movie fucking recommendations.
I don't know. Every time you talk about movies, it sounds like you don't even like movies. It's like,
I love movies. I don't get to go to them because there's no movie theater in town. So I am blissfully unaware of most movies because I don't even really see trailers.
Okay.
What did you go see this week? Was there anything good?
I saw A Working Man, sadly. That movie sucked. Working Man was terrible.
Sparrow, get him. Sparrow loved it.
I like
I like the actions of it. Like I said, I gave it 7 as a schlocky action film. But there's stuff in it that like I actively hated. I can see that like it makes me want to read the Chuck Dixon novels because I want to know how Hollywooded, how they Hollywooded it up. Because there's definitely stuff in there like making the girl that gets kidnapped like she's a karate expert, so she gets in like all these little like
after
girl boss
days
moments.
of being like tortured or like captured and starved, she still got like all the strength to do whatever.
I was fine with her getting away into the woods, but like her getting away into the woods and then immediately getting recaptured again, I was like, what? Like there were scenes like that where I was like, this could have been trimmed out. This doesn't mean anything.
Partially, but also something that is a Hollywood pet peeve of mine is Hollywood never addresses how comically slow most women are. I don't know if you've ever like had to run with a woman, but a lot of the time they're incredibly slow. And in this, you have like a grown man right there, and she's running, and he's just like, "Oh, she's so fast." It's like, no, she's not.
Well, I've had to walk up to a building with a woman, and wait for her to get out of the car. So I understand where you're coming from.
In like every movie's always like, oh man, look at them running side by side. It's like, nah, they're very slow for the most part. But that wasn't
There's a bit at the end where she turns and she flips off the building that she's in that is so ridiculously unnecessary. Like I actually went and I saw it with a female friend of mine, and she was like, "Oh, I hate that. I hate that so much." Like there was just these moments in it that like, I like Statham throughout. I like David Harbour.
Always great.
Jason Fleming is great. There's the action is good. A little too much quick cut for my taste, but the action is good. And it's just nice to see a movie that kind of has some testosterone in it, but it does have those like kind of like, we have to make the girl, like when he comes in the final confrontation and he starts beating up Mac from Always Sunny, the guy I mean, and, but then he just like ignores her, and the girl is still on the table, and it's like you're like, the girl could have shot her, could have stabbed her, could have done anything. You don't know, like you didn't know she was gonna have a girl boss moment and do the rigs from Lethal Weapon. You didn't know that was gonna happen.
I just thought the pacing and the writing was terrible, and I enjoyed Beekeeper as which was essentially the same thing as like a schlocky action movie, and then this I thought was just Beekeeper but worse in every way.
Yeah, see, like a lot of people told me that like Beekeeper was like worse, so I guess it's just a personal preference. So like on an action movie scale, I came out and I was like, I'm gonna give it a tentative like action schlock 7, but I reserve the right to kind of like reduce that down after I'm had time to like sit and think about it.
You want a schlocky action film? Go watch Boy Kills World.
I want to see that one.
It's much
I like
better.
the looks of it.
Purge meets The Hunger Games. Kind of weird thing. It's kind of strange.
You know what I'd like to see is Perch meets The Hunger Game. That's a movie I'm going to see.
Perch meets The Hunger Games. That would be a good one.
Yeah, he's like he's one of the commentators, but he's got like a weird beard and a Winnie the Pooh mask, and but he just keeps talking sense while everybody else is all full of nonsense. That'd be Perch in The Hunger Games.
Sparrow, did you see the big reveal of who the all new Venom is?
I saw some covers that like were teased, like a bunch of variant covers.
No, the page is out on Reddit.
Reveal.
Is it really? Is it MJ?
I think it's a ruse. I think Paul's behind her, and he's just doing that. Like she's already got an identity.
Actually holding her.
If anybody was gonna wear MJ's skin, it would be Paul.
Ooh.
Are you excited about Paul being MJ being the all new Venom, even though she's Jackpot?
Well, they need to Carol Danvers her because she didn't get over as Jackpot, so they have to give her another power set.
I'm not excited about anything coming out of Marvel.
They'll just keep giving her power sets until she's popular as a superhero and not just as Peter Parker's wife.
And be aware, when I say coming out of Marvel, I mean literally being pinched off by Marvel. That's how I feel about everything that they're putting out right now.
Like a turtle head?
It's a loaf.
Yeah.
Oof. That's a loaf.
How was your life this week, Aaron? Anything exciting happen besides the one of that movie?
Yeah, I mean, we're only a couple of inked pages away from from finishing up Kneel Before Doomface #1, so I'm pretty excited about that. I read through the lettering draft of Unholy Nightmare #2, which I think is I like it much better than #1. #1 has to like lay the groundwork and has to do all that work, and #2 like just kind of like picks up the story. It's got good action, it's got great art by Aurelio, and it's got a last page reveal that I wish I'd thought of because I would have done it in one of my books. So I had that going on. Got a bunch of editing. Yeah, like all kinds of comic related stuff for me. It's pretty exciting. But
feels like you're bearing the lead here, Sparrow.
What do you mean?
I'm gonna be starring in Kneel Before Doomface.
Everybody on the panel here today is in Kneel Before Doomface. So I think the only regular that's not in there is Jim, because
We don't know what
I didn't have any. I didn't have anywhere where I could. Well, I didn't have anywhere where I could stick in somebody with a full body cast. And
That'd be funny.
Jim looks like Andre Agassi. That's what he looks like.
Is that true? I mean, he's pretty busted up now, right? Andre Agassi with like missing teeth
But
and a hole in his lip because Jim can't stop hurting himself. Stop it, Jim.
To my knowledge, he did not hurt himself this week. He made it through unscathed.
There's a lot of cameos in Kneel Before Doomface. I'll say that. There's even some characters that I don't own that make brief comedic appearances.
It's a real key issue. My first appearance in comics. This is great.
That's right. That's right.
I was actually in an issue of Black Hops, so I guess not my first appearance.
Get it CGC, man. You got to get this slabbed. Put that link in the live chat. You pimp your comic.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Jim's busy writing the lyrics for more Disney Doomface songs.
Yeah. Naughty lyrics.
He's writing Dirty Doomface right now.
So, Dylan, I know you got the AMC pass. You refuse to go see Snow White, correct?
Yeah, I don't care about that.
Smart mind. Nobody wants to see that.
Yeah,
Are you going to go see Minecraft, though? That's the big question.
The only thing that interests me about that is it's the director. I believe the same director as Napoleon Dynamite, and I love Napoleon Dynamite. So I'm like, if someone can make that movie funny, it'd be that guy. So I'm going to wait and see. And if people say it's funny, I'll go see it. But as of right now, I'm not too interested.
My
in that
oldest
movie.
son wants to see it badly.
Well, he's a demographic, so it makes sense.
Yeah. He plays Minecraft.
I mean, he will.
Like
he will see it. He will see it badly because I have a feeling that badly is the only way it can be seen.
Well, Doc's probably gonna rip some like Russian fucking knockoff where they're recording it on a phone.
Baby crying in the theater.
I do not do cam.
Oh.
In any sense of the word.
Yes.
After using Docbuster Video, I can say this, Aaron. He curates his videos well. They're all in high quality, high def, pristine condition.
I would assume nothing less. Have you seen Doc's comic collection? We've actually seen Doc's. We've actually seen images of Doc's man cave. It is impeccable.
Yeah. Who else have we got? We got Sully, man with the hat, is back. Did you finally get to finish your breakfast?
No, I'm just gonna be munching along, slowly. And hopefully, every time I'm asked to answer a question, I have a mouthful of food. But it's I made myself a delicious steak and cheese omelet with peppers and onions.
What kind of steak?
It's a flank steak. Yeah, just flank steak, and peppers, onions, lots of garlic. So much garlic that none of those vampires from Blood Hunt are gonna get me.
Did you throw some provolone on there? Then it could be like a Philly cheese omelet.
It was more of a Mexican 3-cheese blend because sometimes I feel like a 3-cheese kind of mood. To paraphrase Dane Cook.
Very nice.
Yeah,
you read Absolute Martian Manhunter, correct?
I read it online.
Everyone keeps telling me that it's a perfect comic book and it's absolutely amazeballs.
Sure.
And I do think
10 out of 10.
100%, God is my witness, I think this is the best comic book I've ever written by Dennis Camp, and I think the art does a very good job selling what he's doing, but I merely thought it was fine.
Yes,
I wasn't amazed by anything.
It's beautiful coloring. They did a great job. I think the coloring is the strongest part of this comic. I think the art is. You were telling me about Javier Rodriguez. Is that the artist? And that he colors his own stuff. So it's just that's pretty cool. So artistically, it was pretty good. It was pretty trippy. John Jones is smoking cigarettes the entire time. That's kind of verboten in comics. They don't even let John Constantine smoke anymore, right? But he's on Black Label, so they might. You're right. I think it was Dennis Camp's strongest single story that I've read too.
Well, I wasn't blown away.
Nah, me neither.
There's a better Absolute book. Absolute Wonder Woman kind of blew me away.
That's cool. Yeah, because you said there was an art change there. So
yes, it looks so much better. I actually posted up one of the splash pages onto the Twitter sphere of what I thought should have been the cover because it was such a good image, but they obviously didn't go with that.
Who was that chained up? Was that Hercules or was that Zeus? Who was that?
That was
giving it away.
It was Prometheus.
Oh, cool.
But he's been chained up by Zeus. So what's been going on in your life, Sully? What's going on the channel? Is there anything anybody should be looking out for?
I'm on a subscriber kind of binge. I want to break 2,000 subscribers by the end of this calendar year, and I can't do it without your help. That's right. Come and subscribe to Reverend Sully's channel. We've got spirituality. I offer you a message of hope. I am the evangelist of comics. That's right. Why quote the Bible when you can quote Watchmen and Dark Knight instead and make a lot more sense? You know, it's something about carrying 300 pounds of sociopath up to the highest point in Gotham. The stream alone was worth it. That's, Frank Miller. Thank you.
Wow.
The gospel of
I'm
Frank.
not going to endorse your belief that Watchmen is up there with the biblical teachings, but
No,
to each
I'm
their
just
own, I
being
guess.
sassy. But we do cooking videos. We do, and every Sunday I do a live stream, 3 p.m. US Eastern. We talk about basically what's in the bag. What did I buy at the local comic book shop this week? And I buy funny books every week. I go to my local comic book shop.
Guaranteed
Wednesday.
Godzilla versus Fantastic Four is in that fucking bag.
It's not. I
What?
I came close.
You
to
buy
it.
into all that schlock.
I love that schlock. I'm talking about it tomorrow with Jim on his channel. I'm like, wow, John Romita Jr. art. Everyone hates this but me. Because I'm sus. I love it.
There you go. So
Yeah.
nothing exciting happening in your life.
I'm still unpacking. My living room looks like
It's been 3
the end
months.
I'm taking my time, finding perfect spots to put, all of my Starfleet starships. I've got like every Enterprise. Where do they go? Where's the natural sunlight catch it? These are geeky decisions. They must not be made lightly.
You don't hang them off the ceiling or anything?
No, they come with nice little stands. You know what I mean? That they're each have like
They're
nook
miniatures.
underneath it. Yeah, they're miniatures. They're eagle moss. Yeah.
Are they like for tabletop gaming?
No, they're actually quite detailed. They're just like they're about this big. Like this. I have a Star Fleet. Basically, I've got 18 different Star Trek ones. From Deep Space Nine to like the original Enterprise to all the Enterprises, and I got the ISS Defiant. That's the USS Defiant from their mirror universe in Deep Space Nine. The Voyager. The Grissom. You know what the Grissom is? That was in Star Trek 3. It was a science vessel that got blown up right at the cold open and stranded Savick and David on the planet Genesis.
Dylan, did you ever play the X-Wing tabletop game where you got the miniatures of all the fighters and then you got cards for the pilot that you were going to get and they had special abilities and then you would play out like a battle and try and shoot each other down like Top Gun?
Nope, I played the old X-Wing video games, but I did not play a tabletop game.
Dude, the
I bought
tabletop
some of the
game was even
tabletop.
better.
I bought
It
some
was
of the
so good.
tabletop ships, but,
Those are really
but I never
cool.
played it. But I wanted to because I was like, wait, you can get the Houndstooth, you can get the IG 2000, you can get Shizor's Virago, like all these ships that they weren't making for the regular action figure line, and so I was into buying some of those because I love.
I will vouch that game is a lot of fun, but it is a very expensive hobby.
Dude, that's
all
board games in
miniature
general.
fun.
I went to like a store for like board games the other day that had like all different types. They had like a G.I. Joe one game. Everything was like $60 minimum. It was insane.
Yeah, this is like $30 a ship. And then, if you get an X-Wing, you can play as obviously Luke Skywalker. You can be Biggs Darklighter. You can be just like a regular pilot. And then, of course, you get a TIE fighter where you can be, Darth Vader and all these different characters. And they're all powered up and stuff. And you do like little battle scenarios. It's a lot of fun. It's a good way to waste 3 hours of a day. I'll tell you that. Just setting it all up. Doc, are you too cool to do some tabletop gaming like that?
Yes.
You hate
No, for
Star Wars
marketing.
and Star Trek, though.
I hate Star Trek and Star Wars. I'm mildly interested in sometimes. Like I like the original movies. I kind of sort of can take or leave the prequels. I liked Rogue One. I dislike all the rest of them. I don't care about any of the TV shows.
You would like.
I never watched the Clone Wars. I didn't read it. I tried reading like 2 of the books. I put them down, and I can read almost anything. I put them down like 50 pages in.
What books was you reading, Dylan? Star Wars has a great
one was, I think, Shadow of the Empire and something else.
You didn't like Shadow of the Empire?
Shadow of the
It's
Empire.
good.
I was bored.
Did you try the Heir to the Empire and that?
I think I think that might have been the other one.
Oh, we gotta get Doc into some Republic Commando and some Order.
Yes.
I just finished the 9-book series where Jason Solo turns into Kaitis.
Ooh,
that's a good series.
Those are good.
That's where Han Solo gets a suit of Mandalorian armor sent to him by the new Mandalore, Boba Fett, with a note that says,
"Take care of his son."
Yep, take care of your son, or we will. Yep.
Yeah, that was a good moment. So, how you been, Doc? You having a good week?
I'm well. You
Legacy
know, I
of the
had
Force, exactly. That was great.
I not a bad week. But dude, there was this thing going around with which is this really
You got the COVID?
nasty hacking cough. No, it's like this hacking fucking cough.
Oh.
I finally stopped coughing my fucking head off like yesterday. No real congestion, never felt sick. Just like uncomfortable, constant hacking, like hacking shit out my lungs. And it started like Tuesday night, Wednesday, and Thursday. By yesterday, I felt fine again. At no point did I ever feel sick. It was weird, but I don't know. I didn't miss any work or anything. I still went in. I was just
I think you had pneumonia.
annoyed. It might have been, well, no, because I've had pneumonia before. It normally involves at least a little bit of pain when like breathing deeply. I never had any pain. It was just kind of wet lungs. I figured, I'm in my 40s now. I've been smoking for 30 some years.
Right.
When did you start?
I figured
smoking,
it was
Doc?
time
Were you
for some
10?
emphysema. About 12.
12.
Figured it was time for like the emphysema to start kicking in, and I'm like, all right, well, maybe that's what it is. If so,
No, yeah, Doc was the tail end of Gen Z, man. He was 13 when he was 30.
Yeah, I was right at the tail end.
When he was 13, I should say.
Gen X.
Mm-hmm.
So
Splinter of the Mind's Eye. That's the original sequel to Star Wars.
That was a terrible book too.
Thankfully, they went away for that direction.
You know what though? Dark Horse redid it later. I think it had Chris Sprouse artwork, but they redid it and they kind of like matched it to the EU continuity, and it kind of worked.
But was it good?
Yeah, I think it was good. I think I did enjoy it. I was like, oh yeah, they really, because what it was, they had a novel. Lucas had this novel commissioned because he was like,
Right.
Star Wars tanks, and I ever want to do if it doesn't do great, and I ever want to make a sequel, I need like a really scaled down version. And so, they like kind of eliminate Han Solo and they give some of his qualities to Luke Skywalker, and there's this just very small kind of confrontation on this one planet with Vader at the end. And it's really, you can tell it was really designed to be like a low budget Star Wars film if that was all they could make. But fortunately, Maria Lucas went in there and edited the hell out of Star Wars and pulled it together into a coherent story, and it became a huge hit, and we got Empire.
Dylan, can you believe this? Sully is reading the Rise of Skywalker comic book adaptation.
Every one of them.
Why?
Because it's there. Because
you don't have time for Hush 2, but you have time for this. What is
really?
Does he have priorities?
What is? Yeah, I'm starting to think so.
Well, I'm a big Star Wars fan, and I'm actually.
Apparently,
you're not reading.
Avoiding this.
Yeah, you're not reading Star Wars. You're reading Disney Star Wars, which is Star Wars in name only.
I'm not. Well, let's see. I read the Rise of Skywalker novelization when it came out 5 years ago, and it did not help one bit trying to figure out the story. So Jodie Hauser, who wrote the
Oh, come on, that's a
novelization,
1-2 punch of no.
yeah, she got to adapt her own novelization for this book, and so it's like, it doesn't help. But it's just like it shows like cut scenes. We get more Rose
Sounds
Tico.
like the movie.
Yay.
Yeah, that movie was cutscenes. The movie,
Yeah.
It just felt like a bunch of stuff from other movies that was left on the floor.
Moving on and moving on and moving on. And
Yep.
moving on and moving
Don't
on.
think about it.
Oh,
don't
wait.
think about it.
Moving
We're
on.
3 scenes past that now. Don't even think about it.
Oh man, I never
terrible.
intended to watch The Rise of Skywalker, Dylan, and then Aaron and I reviewed it for the channel, and I regret it.
It's terrible. It's like you don't think they can make anything worse than the prior 2 movies, and then they did. That one is legitimately awful. My favorite part was when they go to that one planet with all the water, and the water's too dangerous for the natives there to sail it. But
Right.
the girl from a desert planet can navigate the waters.
Correct. I love it. I love where you're going here. My favorite part was this: that Ben Solo fixed an Imperial era TIE fighter that was in a hangar bay that survived planetfall, that didn't rust because of the whole water level thing. And what he did was he installed a hyperdrive and a life support system, and an Imperial era TIEs did not have a hyperdrive. They were not airtight. That's why the TIE fighter pilot had to wear that big mechanism, because they're not pressurized, and shields too to survive the whole maze going to Exegol. So I'm like, wow, what a brilliant guy.
Well, he had already survived a, just rolling along the desert floor in a TIE fighter that got its wing cut off.
Yeah,
and it just goes
Oh my
across and then
gosh.
explodes. And somehow he gets out and he's like completely unscathed.
And it's great too, because it reminded me of if you there was this hip hop star called Lisa Left Eye Lopez. She was dating Andre Ricin, who is an Atlanta Falcon, and she burned down his mansion over a big fight that they had. So I'm thinking, wow, Kylo Ren's got this psycho girlfriend that ruined 2 of his Trans Ams. Seriously, cut the wing off of one, then stole his next ride, and then set it on fire. What a bitch!
And it's his cousin.
Dude, yeah.
I just love the fact that they wrote themselves into a corner, and the best solution they could come up with was, without this transponder, they don't know what direction up is. And there's only one transponder at a time on each ship. Not every ship has a transponder that tells them which direction is up. Like, you can't just send a guy to the window and go, planet's there, so logically we should be going that way. In the direction of where we're already standing. And when I look up, that also happens to be up because the ceiling is here. And at no point did we turn the ships upside down. So if we go in the direction of the ceiling, we should be fine. Like, one of the dumbest cobbled together pieces of crap that we have ever seen come out of Hollywood.
I think Rise of Skywalker is worse than the Last Jedi, but I think the Last Jedi is a more destructive film.
What's
part of the reason that Rise of Skywalker is so terrible is because it's reacting to the Last Jedi and trying to fix things and course correct things that were taken off the rails. You would have got a better movie out of Rise of Skywalker if they just would have stuck to their guns of the terrible things that had already been done and just kept it, coherent with that. But instead they were trying to do all this patchwork and
which was the one that had them riding horses on side on the
Rise of
Skywalker.
Yeah. Okay, I couldn't remember.
Yeah,
You don't need to remember. It's terrible. Just erase it from your memory. I never even thought. Sorry, go ahead.
Let's hear for the people. As we got Caleb saying Joanne Stair is a freak. And where did this person come from? You've seen out of touch people, but this woman, what the fuck is she?
If only
she's a freak.
If only there was some sort of, I don't know, way to diagnose a mental illness here.
She came from Fartertown. She runs Fartertown.
Fartertown.
She didn't even get that joke right. She said Fart Town instead of Fartertown.
Yeah, she did a Master Blaster joke and then didn't even lean into it properly.
Didn't get it. Yeah.
I thought, the best part about the book was when they have Plastic Man talking about wanting to kill himself, knowing that the sole creator of Plastic Man killed himself.
Yeah.
Great joke.
I don't think she probably didn't mean that, but
that would require Joanne Stair to have more than a cursory knowledge of anything about comic books. Hey, they're on paper, and these people exist by this publisher, sort of.
no, I think she just willed herself into existence, and then like an editor was like, "Yeah, you're right. You are a comic book writer."
Is she a librarian or something like that? She gets to buy like the young adult books for the library.
No,
She's
not a very good.
That's
writer.
how low DC. Is that how low DC sales are? That they'll just hire any random librarian because they're like, look, we'll get 4 more books out on each of our titles.
They're the ones that have the power. They buy the Scholastic books. They are the ones we're writing for. It's true, in a way.
And then he says, "Do you think Zaslav wants Superman to fail as an excuse to get rid of DC and every inbred freak working there?"
No.
No,
I think
they
need it to do well, to sell it for any type of value.
But I think they want to sell it.
Yeah,
I think a good Superman a good Superman movie is just going to print money. That could make $2 billion if you just did it right. And they might be. He might.
What do you think, Dylan? Can Superman do $2 billion at the worldwide box office?
Definitely can't do $2 billion, but yeah, it can definitely make a lot of money. It's not coming close to $2 billion though.
I think it could do 1.25.
Yeah,
1 to 1.25. I think that's kind of its
like the ceiling, yeah.
For especially for a first movie in this new universe, you need 10 movies, 15 movies to build up to a $2 to $3 billion movie.
Yeah.
I think people were just craving a good Superman movie. I mean, because we were given at the Snyderverse. What did we get out of that? We got Snyder Bros. Now we got Snyder Bros everywhere. Jeez. But now we can have something a bit more typical. We got red trunks back. We've got vibrant primary colors back.
You got red trunks back, but you've got a really bad costume underneath them.
Yeah.
So it's like you give a little, you get a little. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't.
We got crypto.
We get crypto.
But you didn't really. You got crypto, but you got a little cutesy crypto. You didn't get like legit crypto.
What do you want to be, a fucking pit bull? Nobody wants pit bull crypto.
Grant Morrison's dire wolf?
I want a little bit more than like Pomeranian crypto.
I want a Lhasa Apso. I want a terrier crypto, because it's about like, you judge him by his size, do you not?
Yes, I do. You need enough of a body to absorb enough solar energy to pull off all those feats of strength. No, I mean, I'm fine with crypto, but I don't know. I'm hearing people that have seen screenings of it, test screenings, and they're saying that it is very much James Gunn humor. And if that's the case, I don't know that works with Superman.
I don't need a black light jizz joke in the Superman movie.
Yeah.
What do you think, Dylan? Are you still excited for this movie?
Yeah, I'm still excited. I don't put much weight into the test screening stuff because I hear all the time about, like with Captain America: Brave New World, it's like, oh, the test screenings weren't bad, so they went back and fixed things. Then you watch it, it's like, what did they fix? Because I don't know how that went, but yeah, I don't put much weight into the test screening stuff. I'm gonna wait to judge it with my own eyes to see how it is. I'm still excited. I'm still hopeful. It could be good.
And I think Zaslav is desperate to get some franchises off the ground again.
Definitely,
he needs Superman to work. They're trying to build out Harry Potter again. They're going back to the Lord of the Rings well, like the proven money winners that they do have. And I think he wants to get all of it in order.
Each one, they're shooting themselves in the foot right out of the gate. The DC universe, we needed to do well. Oh, let's bring in Tom King. The Harry Potter, we needed to do well. Let's piss everybody off with our Snape casting. I mean, it's like you gotta at some point you've got to say we need to just stick.
But you like the War of Rohirrim
most as possible. I didn't see it.
Oh,
did you? Was it any good?
I heard that it wasn't, and then and a couple other people have said like, no, it's worth seeing. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Like it's on Max. I could watch it, but I just have not yet.
Is it good, Dylan?
I didn't watch it either.
You got the AMC pass. What are you doing, man? You're supposed to be the movie guy. Jagrod 2. So on the week, we should be going on about Hush 2, Ultimate Spider-Man, Absolute Martian Manhunter being awesome. Instead, we get a Farty Comics up against the Oxygen. meh.
It's
That is
me,
true.
man.
That was bad timing on DC's part. They should have not put everything out the same week. I hate it when they do this. Marvel and DC put like the entire Trinity came out from DC this week. Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. And Green Lantern, and Green Arrow, and fucking Justice League. Like they put everything out in 1 week. I hate that stuff. Nobody else?
I agree. Oh, totally.
No, I mean it's definitely bad
for.
It's bad for shops too, because shops need that constant flow of traffic. They need you coming in more than once a month, and if you dump everything in the same week, it makes it real easy to skip your shop. And they need you in there. They need you in there looking at stuff. They need you maybe grabbing some action figures that came out. I don't know if you're a Funko Pop person or you're buying a gift for somebody. You might want to grab one of those. Get some posters, some T-shirts, some bags and boards, like Sully says. There's lots of things that you can do.
You go in the dollar bins. I got a couple of dollar bins this week.
But the truth is, if the publishers cared about the comic book retailers, they wouldn't be publishing the things that they publish.
You're reading the Similarian?
Yeah, I just started for the first time.
How do you say that, Sparrow? Because people make fun of me when I say the Similarian.
Cimmerillion.
Cimmerillion?
Yeah, Cimmeril is the jewels.
The Tolkien fucking chuds are ass wipes about the entire thing. I'm just they are very not forgiving.
Actually, Gandalf the Grey is only in the first movie. In the second movie, he's Gandalf the White.
And Aragorn fixes his sword in the first book, not in the third movie. Hello.
Shelob is not in Return of the King.
I actually liked a lot of comic books this week. In fact, I thought DC had a pretty darn good week. But I didn't think Hush 2, Ultimate Spider-Man, or Absolute Martian Manhunter were like the good books. I thought they were all kind of mid. I thought Ultimate Spider-Man was a really big drop-off from last month.
I thought that Green Lantern and Superman this week were kind of weak in a way, too. I mean, and I buy those.
I think Green Lantern's getting overcrowded right now. Like, this is supposed to be the Hal book. Let's get it back to being the Hal book. We got Green Lantern Corps for all the other stuff.
I agree 100%. And then Eddie Barrows is on Superman, and it looks good. But there's one page with 2 illustrations specifically of Lois's face that are so
eyes
weird.
are like
yes,
that's in these days.
Yeah,
like,
it felt kind of like
I'll
a rush
go
job.
do it. It's like I would never send you to do anything. You're clearly on meth, and then she like goes off flying with like a really weird angle that makes her look stupid. Other than that, it looks good.
Yeah.
Did you guys see Ibe Canales did a Tom King comic strip on Twitter? It's just 9 panels of sad Superman, and then at the end he's like, "I regret buying a Tesla, Lois," and then her her angry face lecturing him. Well, you should, Clark. And I was like, "Oh my god, I think Canales might be Tom King's ghostwriter."
Yeah, that was pretty good. But no, there's definitely some good stuff. I'm going to be excited to talk about Best of the Week with Drew later on, because I have a book we're going to highlight that I didn't think I would.
That's good.
Baja Cat. DC Comics, we don't understand how manga's destroying us. Also, DC, here's an insulting, perverted fart comic book with no action or adventure because F you and give us $8.
Exactly.
Well, we had to pay for the scratch and sniff that you did.
Right.
So here's the thing, Aaron. What was more reprehensible? The fact that it wasn't funny or the fact that it was $8?
The fact that it wasn't
the bigger sin. Yes.
The fact that it wasn't funny. Like if you could actually write some good jokes and give people their money's worth, then sure, $8 might be the way to go. But it's like I put out the tweets from like the people that worked on that book, and they've got like some very like perverse, disgusting tweets, and they're clearly weird autistic fetishists, and that's who this book was written by. That's who this book was for. And I just don't understand how it got past editorial. I really don't.
Well, I'm wondering too. Okay, Wes, you've got kids, you got boys, and I'm trying to think that if I was a 10-year-old boy, would I think this is goofy as all fuck, and would I be laughing my ass off till my nose bled? I'm trying to be fair to this because I'm like
8-year-old boys love references to Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. They think they're hilarious.
Just like I would have just what I mean. Like I was a goofy kid, and I'm trying to think.
One of the foundational elements of the entire book is knowing who James Joyce is. What 8-year-old boys knows who the fuck that is?
When you're Irish, you do.
Well, I know who it is.
At 8 years old. Oh yeah, all the 8-year-old Irish kids that I went to school with carried their James
mother
Joyce.
read me Finnegan's Wake, so I'd fall asleep every night until I was 14.
$8 for just
I know,
garbage.
huh?
I mean, The art absolutely was better than it should have been. It perfectly fit the book, and I think Brantenstein did a good job. But other than that, nah, not even close to being worth it. And it's bullshit that Dylan decides to just give himself a fucking hall pass on this and take a week off while we're all suffering through these bad fart jokes.
This was, my morals. I couldn't do it. I had to pass up on it. You know how you won't read Mark Waid books? That's me with fart fetish books. I can't do it.
Oh, it was a gas, man.
He's using my own fucking logic against me, and I don't appreciate that.
Hey, do as I say, not as I do, kid.
But I don't put a Mark Waid book as a fucking topic because I know I'm not going to read it. But I get where you're coming from. This is how Comics Invictus, I guess, describes Boy Kills World. Purge meets Hunger Games meets The Raid, and I think that's pretty accurate because there was a part of it that I was missing on the end because of the over-the-top action and martial arts nature of the movie, and it is The Raid that I was missing. Dylan.
Yeah, it's definitely worth watching. And hardly anyone saw it, so but it's really good.
It's so weird because he's like deaf and mute.
Yes,
but his inner voice is like a video game, like the whoever would call it Player One type of thing.
Yes, it's H. John Benjamin who voices Archer, and also what's his name, Bob in Bob's Burgers. So that guy is his inner voice, and it's great because it's Bill Skarsgård playing the character, and then it's him being his inner voice, and it's hilarious.
Yeah, his inner voice would be like, "All right, play it cool" or whatever. And all of a sudden he starts going he reacting to it. It's really strange.
Yeah, like times where he can't understand anything people are saying. He's just like, "All right, I just gotta pretend like I get it."
Yes, and they're finally the guy's breaking down. He's clearly been told that his wife and kids are dead, but he can't understand that. He kind of puts a hand on it. That's pretty good. But I really like that actor. That's the Asian dude as well from what is that movie? The Asian Western. Andrew Koji, is that his name?
Which one? Because I'll give you an Asian Western right now that you got to check out.
The one that I watched on Max. How am I forgetting the name of this? It was inspired by Bruce Lee. It was his idea, but he never made it.
Oh yeah, I know the one. I know the one you're talking about. Yeah, we talked about it a little bit. I know the one.
Yeah, the star of that is the little sidekick he gets.
Go watch.
Man,
go watch A Warrior's Way, man. That's a fun movie.
Warrior is the name of the show. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But
so
there's a movie called
Dylan
Warriors.
Frozen? I knew it. He was frozen. He wasn't reacting or saying nothing.
He's got stage fright.
No, he had to leave because you keep insisting he reads a fart fetish comic. He was like, "I'm out."
You know what? The worst part about the Fartacular is that it was a better book than Amazing Spider-Man 70.
Well, that's
my mic.
Probably true. So Dylan, you froze up. I was like, is he trying to play still?
No, my internet dropped out for a minute there. Yeah.
But I like his little sidekick. That guy was great.
Which one?
I think his name's Andrew Koji. He was in The Warriors.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he also played Storm Shadow in that horrible
Yes, and he was the best part of the Snake Eyes movie.
Yeah, he's good in that. He's funny.
Yeah, he's absolutely hilarious. So, yeah, definitely go check out Boy Kills World. Tyler Golazinski, if it's true and Mary Jane is Venom, I'm okay for it. If it means she's dropping the jackpot gimmick for full-time Venom, plus watching Mary Jane and Dylan picking on Paul will be glorious.
So that's a time where I would be okay with the symbiote, like with them copying the movie where the symbiote has its own personality and is also joining in and picking on Paul. No, just also starts in and ragging on Paul. So it's just 3 people around Paul just continually berating him until he eventually offs himself.
Ooh. And in Minecraft.
Should they make a book called "Fuck That Paul Guy"? And it's just
character.
Marvel characters coming in and dumping on him. That'd be fun.
Yeah, like the Marvel Universe kills Paul.
So do you think that is a real reveal, or do you think that's a red herring meant to get us off the scent? Because when they gave us the 5 options of who all New Venom could be, I don't believe Mary Jane was one of them. Right?
Yeah. I think it's Paul still. I think she's like hiding in front of Paul, revealing herself to Robbie Robertson in that leaked Reddit panel, and to Robbie's not going to out MJ because they're friends. They're old friends. He does, he would have He's the editor of the Bugle, like new Venom, Paul Rabin.
Because it was supposed to be Madam Mask, I think.
Right.
Robbie Robertson?
Robbie Robertson.
Rick Jones.
Luke Cage.
Yeah.
And yeah, the usual suspects. Yeah, I think so. It's all smoke and mirrors, you know. It's a publishing gimmick to try to get your money.
Would you read a book about MJ as Jackpot or MJ as Venom, Sully? Because you're probably the only one that would read a book like that.
Well, okay, like when Carrie Andrews revealed MJ as Venom in Reign 2, that was hot. That was really good because Venom and MJ have a terrible history. So I think it's better. I would love to see MJ as Venom. That would be great. And because by doing that, she could probably access some of Peter's feelings. Because in that, what was that? In that Venom War Spider-Man short, that 3-issue one, like Venom was really exploring Peter's feelings for MJ, being like, "Oh wow, like you still have feelings for her," you know. And that was like Lansing and Kelly. Yeah. But I could see that. That sounds interesting.
It's not though. It's not, and it just ruins MJ for future stories. Once you made MJ a superhero, like her character's done, which is what they've been wanting to do anyway. Is just write her out, get rid of her, not have her in Peter's life, and it's just. And the Venom symbiote at this point, it's like the Lily Phillips of the Marvel universe. Everyone's been inside that thing.
I thought her name was Blue or something.
There's two of them.
There's a couple of
Bonnie
them.
Blue and Lily Phillips.
Bonnie Blue.
Then they got some internet drama. You know, they had some holes to fill. Oh, God.
Oh, my goodness. Fuck that. We're moving on.
They're in a whole petition.
Marvel won't do it, but Aaron would make fandoms very happy if at some point he added Paul as a stand-in and kill before Doomphase and offed him in the most brutal ways possible.
Oh, it'll happen. It'll happen. The problem right now with comics is there's so many bad things coming out to parody that like I can't keep up. I have this running list of all of these jokes that I can do and all these ways that I can take jabs at just how awful mainstream comics are right now, and do it in a interesting story-driven kind of way that serves the Doomface narrative. And it's like we're just finishing up the first issue, and I'm already like 8 issues ahead in my mind. So just keep churning it out, keep churning out the garbage, comic companies. You'll keep Kneel Before Doomface running for a long, long time.
Mike Ortego, has anyone read the novel Batman Resurrection? It's fun and it's better than the Batman 89 comics, but that's not saying much.
No.
I mean, it would have to be.
I know that it exists, and it's supposed to be like the novelization of what the sequel would have been, right?
Yeah.
But I've never read it. I've been on a Star Wars, like, historical, accounting binge on my books lately.
Going back through all the good stuff before the dark times, before the Disney Empire.
Yeah, I just finished the one series of 9 books. I did the Bane trilogy. I did a few other things, but I've also been reading some stuff on Dodge City, Kansas, and stuff like that.
Have you read Death Troopers?
No.
Death Troopers is fun, but read the Old Republic novel. It actually, I think it came out afterwards, but it takes place before and kind of sets up Death Troopers. Okay. Read that one first.
One of my favorite Star Wars books is hands down Matthew Stover's novelization of Revenge of the Sith. It's great. I mean, if you ever wanted to elevate your prequel experience, read all 3 of those novelizations. They have
Terry Brooks did the first one.
Yeah, and Art Salvador did the second one, and Matthew Stover's Revenge of the Sith novelization is great because it's based upon the screenplay before the final, before the pickup shots, because Anakin enjoys his fall. There is no tear. It's him with Sith eyes, and he's got to power down to put on the Anakin face because Padme's showed up. You know what I mean? Just it was great.
Well, just for the office scene alone, where the Jedi come to confront him, is so much better than in the movie. Because Palpatine does not take down 4 Jedi Masters or 3 Jedi Masters almost immediately.
Right.
He gets Saesee Tiin right away.
Right.
And then there's a longer battle with the other Masters.
Exactly.
And, so that alone is worth the price of admission. but it is really good. And even Terry Brooks said that like he sat down with George Lucas before he did the novelization and he picked his brain, and that's why Darth Bane is actually introduced in that novel. The idea of him is introduced in the prequel novelization because he got to hear George kind of like talk about it, and then later that got fleshed out.
So I'm sorry we haven't read Batman Resurrection, but we haven't read too many Star Wars books.
Right.
Bunch of nerds outside of Doc.
Wicked nerd.
Tyler Golazinski. Plus, if MJ has the Venom suit, then she won't need Paul for tech support for her powers. So either Paul leaves or we get more Dylan and MJ mocking Paul. Plus, if your imagination, the symbiote is better than Jetpack. I'm all for Paul being destroyed by everybody.
Yeah, what even Captain America to turn up and roast him?
Oh yeah,
the Marvel Universe versus Paul Rabin.
Yeah,
one shot.
Even Speedball comes over and mocks him. Like, you are a fucking waste, aren't you?
And then he comes over in his penance costume. Like, I went through this penance suit. Yeah, I went through this whole emo phase.
It's got spikes on the inside, man. You're gonna love it.
Oh man. So Dylan, you've never liked Spider-Man.
I like Spider-Man. I've just never been the biggest fan of Spider-Man. Never been my favorite or anything like that.
DC guy.
Yeah.
Well, don't start now. I mean, that 8, that's just terrible.
Peak Spider-Man for me was the Spectacular Spider-Man cartoon. Now is watching that growing up. I love that show.
Not Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends.
Spectacular.
Sadly, we only got 2 seasons of Spectacular Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm. I love the black outfit in that. The symbiote, they pulled that off really nicely. And I love the design of Peter in the black outfit.
And Josh Keaton is the best Spider-Man. He does really such a great job voicing Peter. Yeah, that show's amazing.
If they want to make Paul anything, they should just let him be the villain that he is.
Yeah, give him his heel turn. Let's get it over with.
Same with Carol Danvers. Like in the same boat. Although they've certainly pushed Carol much harder.
Well, you can't do... It's just like, the problem with Rey in the Star Wars movies is once you make a character representative, they can't ever be interesting because you can't have them make any mistakes, because then what are you saying about all these, this whole demographic that this character is representative of? So it ruins any chance you have of actually getting a character over. Carol Danvers at this point, she should be a villain. And then they should reveal that she's got some kind of brainworm or something, and it's been controlling her the whole time. You got to give her an out. If you want to keep her around, you got to give her an out like Hal Jordan, where Jeff Johns had to go.
Yeah, make a new thing like the Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
It was trying to infiltrate and destroy the Avengers from the inside.
Yep. And she was basically being used as a meat.
Stop him. Yeah.
Then you can actually mirror back to kind of like the terrible Carol Danvers stories from before, where she was manipulated. You can kind of like play with that trauma, and then you can build her back up again. You break her down and you build her back up.
Comics Invictus says slow speed chase in Last Jedi makes total sense and totally unavoidable and super exciting to watch.
That's true. It was.
You know what? I did watch a slow speed chase recently in Master and Commander. I went and watched it again, and it works really well there when they're on the high seas in sailboats or in ships. Doesn't really work in space.
No.
Also, the kamikaze just breaks Star Wars, because then it's like droids exist. Have them kamikaze into everything in every single starfight.
Mm-hmm.
That breaks Star Wars massively.
You could have taken out the Death Star, no problem.
Yeah. Every single starfight you ever have could have been solved like that. It visually looks cool. Like when that moment happens, it looks cool, but it breaks the logic of Star Wars.
Yeah, and the audio is cool. Like, Ben Burtt nails it, and it feels like a dramatic moment, but then the moment you think about it, you go, wait a minute.
Yeah, you're like, why is this the first time we're seeing this? Why isn't this used constantly?
You know what fixes that, though, Dylan? You know what fixes that? What fixes that is having a character in the next movie say, oh, come on, that was 1 in a million.
Yeah, true.
Why? Thank you, Charlie from Lost. Charlie. Clea.
Man. I just remember getting up to that moment in the movie where, not organically, they just make Poe Dameron this complete moron that mutinies the entire ship just because she won't tell him what's going on, even though he's Leia's most trusted advisor and military counselor.
Poe Dameron
literally won't speak to him.
That mutiny was justified. She was getting people.
Yes, he should have been doing that. It was like, because
He was entirely right.
Yeah, I was just very frustrated. The whole movie's bad. My goodness. Caleb says on Rohirrim, it's another girl boss, anti-male feminist movie, and surprised the female lead is gay as usual. And it didn't surprise me. The writer and producer is a woman, and the main is her OC, original character.
I got a little bit of that from the trailer, and that's why I didn't go see it, because it looked very girl boss, and that's why I was like, all right, I'm gonna head out on this and not watch it. And then the reviews were very mixed. So I'm like, okay, I definitely don't need to go see this. But yeah, the trailer definitely had a lot of girl boss vibes.
Well, and then even the explanation that you saw in the media where she's like, oh, it's the character that, that Tolkien didn't really flesh out. No, Tolkien fleshed out all the characters that were important. This was a character that didn't even get a name in his book because it was not an important character who contributed nothing to the overall narrative. And you just turned it near OC and hung all your, all your story ideas on it.
And there's nothing but names in the Similarian, the Silmarillion. The Silmarillion?
The Silmarillion?
That's how I feel a little bit about Invincible too, though, because I love the Invincible comic, and then I see people talking about the show like, man, they're really fleshing Amber out. And it's like, who gives a shit about Amber? Like, I don't care that she's a better character now. She doesn't need to be. She wasn't meant to be like a super important fleshed out character. And I hear stuff about that all the time with Invincible. It's like, why are they making these changes? And people are like, wow, I'm glad Kirkman learned his lesson and isn't problematic anymore and learned how to do this and this. And it's like, but that wasn't the point of the original comic. Like,
well, he came out and he did the proper self-flagellation. He came out and said that he's a dumb. I'm just a dumb white guy.
Yeah, stupid white guys. Yeah.
Stop talking over your betters while we try to fix history, Dylan. Please, come on.
What happened to Doc? Did he just leave?
He went out for a cigarette, dude. That's why it's the only thing. The only thing that's going to cure the coughing, because he doesn't want to sound like.
No,
Richard,
Doc was like, they're going to keep talking about Star Wars. I don't need to be here.
Oh my goodness.
Nerd says, how the heck is no one talking about Marvel Cosmic Invasion? The same people responsible for TMNT Shredder's Revenge. Do you not like X-Men the arcade game?
Do you not X-Men arcade? No, I have been talking about it on X. I have been talking about it over on the.
So there's a new Marvel arcade game?
Yeah, well, it's coming out. It's by the guys that did TMNT Shredder's Revenge,
which is really fun.
Fantastic. Yeah. Like, it is everything about those side scroller beat 'em ups that you loved as a kid, like amped up. It's like it feels perfectly old school, but also new at the same time. So I am super psyched for this. It was kind of like announced in this Nintendo kind of like news stream, and it was just kind of like mentioned in passing, like they didn't even like hype it because it's not one of their first party games. It's going to be everywhere apparently, but the developers that are behind it, the way that it looks, it looks like the spiritual successor to that kick-ass Konami X-Men game.
Yeah, it looks really fun.
Exciting.
And they put a Captain Marvel in it because by Marvel's decree you have to. But instead of forcing us to play as Carol, we get Phyla-Vell, so that's a little bit better.
Yeah. Well, that sounds like it'll be fun.
And they'll keep adding characters to it. That's the neat thing about it is they'll keep adding characters that you can play as throughout the life of the game.
But are they going to have like the arcade stand up where you've got like the 4-topper and you get to play it like that, or is it just a console?
If you spend the money on that, you can play it.
That's right.
If you buy that for your own console or PC, then yeah, you can play it like that.
If you're rich and you want to open an arcade and you want to commission that, I'm sure that they'll make it happen.
Man, I like arcades. I love arcades, right?
I would love to have Star Wars, like the sit down Atari Star Wars with the Vector Ray graphics. That thing is the best machine ever because it was like you had real, John Williams music. You had Ben Burt sound effects. You had
the stick. You had the actual
quotes. Yeah, you had like the HOTUS arrangement there. You know what I mean?
But it was impossible to destroy the Death Star.
No, you could destroy the Death Star. It's just that it would restart, and you'd have to destroy the Death Star.
I never got it there though. I never won it then.
And then there was an
Empire that for years
version.
at the freaking roller skating rink.
And there's an Empire Strikes Back version that I never got to play because it wasn't around here. Oh, and then there's a Return to the Jedi version I got to play where there's a speeder bike race part too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So wait, Wes, did you let go? Or were you just using your targeting computer the whole time? Because you gotta let
don't
go.
know.
You gotta
use the
let the
force.
force flow through you.
All I know is I had an N64 Star Wars game where I was flying around and tying up freaking Imperial walkers on Hoth. That was pretty fucking badass.
Shadows of the
Shadows
Empire. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was
Maybe
a good
that's
game.
what it was. It was good.
Yeah,
Super-
no,
a lot of
that was
fun.
amazing. And they
Super
pulled off
Empire
a lot of
Strikes Back,
tricks.
too.
They pulled off a lot of tricks to make that work, like to make it feel like you were doing something, like that the technology was somewhere that it wasn't. So, oh man, what a time to be alive.
Caleb says Kevin Smith will be writing a Spider-Man book. It's about him crying on every page, talking about his private parts.
That's okay. He won't finish it. He can start.
Yeah, he's still got a fucking Daredevil bullseye thing to deliver, doesn't he?
I love Smith too. I mean, hey, Clerks 3. If you're a Clerks fan, I mean, dude,
that was
thing-
the most abysmal film I've ever
Bummer.
seen in my entire. I thought Clerks 2 was bad.
I love that.
Clerks
It was
3
dirty
was an
like
abomination
it.
that actually made Jay and Silent Bob reboot look
good.
almost passable in comparison. After that was the biggest hunk of shit that I thought he'd ever made.
Oh, it was my biggest fear of Kevin Smith.
I
after
am-
his
I
heart
am-
attack, man. That he would lose his sense of humor. That naughty, ribald sense of humor, the dick jokes for overweight and underweight guys who can't get laid that he codified in Chasing Amy.
Yeah, he's an
Couldn't do it.
insufferable pussy now.
Well, he has to keep going back to the well because he can't do anything new. Did you see he's doing an Archie comic? I was ragging on it on Twitter because
Don't worry, he
Yeah.
won't finish it.
they did the Clerks. They did the Clerks cover, and they've got Betty in the place of the girl who sucked 37. And I was like,
Try
that's
not to
pretty.
suck any dick on the way out to the parking lot.
At the same time?
Hey, you get back over here. His Quick Stops weren't that bad. He just did a bunch of
would've-
Dark Horse comics called Quick Stops, 1 and 2 volumes, and they're of the Clerks era, of the early Clerks era. So those
Well,
were
the Clerks,
those were okay.
the Clerks comics, like back in the day by him and Andy Parks, were good. I liked the Clerks cartoon well enough. I thought that was well done. He had something back in the day, but he's turned into just you either die the hero or you live long enough to be current day Kevin Smith.
HH the fellas at Sigma Comics. There used to be lines out the door. Now you get a fart in the face. Sad Makers, Indies, Doomface, Recluse, Calico, Klaus Johnson. Enough said.
Yeah, we haven't talked about that enough. The fact that HH has reteamed Mike Barron and Klaus Johnson for the first time since Punisher on Here Comes Calico. That is going to be amazing.
Very nice. We got Doomface and Recluse teaming up. I think at where's that one? Is that one going to be at C2E2?
No, on the New York Comic Con cover that we did last year. That's the first cover appearance of Doomface. It's him fighting Recluse from Unholy Nightmare.
Yeah, but congratulations. That's like some legendary stuff, getting those two together for the next installment of Here Comes Calico.
And speaking of Doomface and Recluse, I think I still have a couple of covers left in the shop of that NYCC exclusive. So if you head over to neilbeforedoomface.com, if I can speak, you can still grab that.
I feel terrible. I don't have a link to that in the video description, but I will get that fixed because I think the Kickstarter is about to go down, right?
The Kickstarter will be closing soon. As soon as we have all the files assembled and we know we need to get our print numbers ready for the printer, we'll be shutting it down. So I will do like a small push before then, where I remind people if they have not yet backed the book and they want to go pick it up. But then we'll be shutting it down, and any volume of the first print of the first issue will be more expensive after that.
Very nice. Callum says there's an artist on Deviant called Cal Marcus Art. I'll send you a link. MJ Wears the Symbiote. It's worth reading. I'll send a link. Very nice.
Oh, he does like his own comic of it. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's what you have to do now. You have to get get fan comics online by people who actually care and have talent, because none of them want to work for Marvel's rates or deal with Marvel editorial.
We'll make more
if you want a
Twitter
decent
posts.
X-Men book, you got to go find John Burns' fucking Patreon or whatever,
Mhm.
or Discord, whatever he's doing. I can't believe that Elsewhen's been the best fucking X-Men book for like 4 years. Not even close. Tavia says, why does Marvel Comics want failure in Spider-Man?
Well,
I don't
Spidey
think
has
they
the
do.
power. Go ahead, Doc.
I don't think they do. I think they just don't know what success is, and
Mhm.
they're intentionally hamstringing themselves because of some asinine editorial edict that I don't think anybody actually gives a shit about.
Mm.
Because somebody that was their editor-in-chief 15 years ago, at most recent, decided he was mad and sad because he was getting a divorce, so nobody else could be happy.
Well, it's the same thing, the same decision that he made with nobody in Marvel can smoke because my dad smoked and he died of cancer, so therefore we can't have cigarettes. We can still have every other kind of vice under the sun, you know, and Wolverine can still murder people with his claws, and the X-Men can become murderers and throw people into space. Now, granted, that wasn't under Joe's watch, but it's just like, it's ridiculous that, like, yeah, you can have Kitty Pryde phasing people into things and killing them, but you can't have Wolverine smoke a cigar.
Or Nick Fury chomping on a cigar. I know.
Yeah, and by the way, you know, when it comes to smoking cigars, I got one right here. So, you know, there's just this idea that you can't do that, you can't portray that, is absolutely ridiculous to me.
Nerd says that's not Shadows, that's Star Wars Rogue Squadron.
No, there's a level of it in Shadows. You play the Hoth mission in Shadows as Dash.
No, this is the very first opening playable level was Hoth. This is the one I was on.
I think that's Shadows.
You're probably right. But I don't remember the name of that.
He was at the Battle of Hoth.
But it was good. It was a great game. They don't make them like that anymore, unfortunately.
You have a PlayStation?
I have a PlayStation 3.
Okay. Star Wars Squadrons was an amazing game.
Nobody wants to play fucking Arkham Asylum with me online anymore.
You can play Arkham Asylum online still?
I don't think so. Because they dropped it all. Despite PlayStation 3 being the best platform they ever fucking made.
I mean, I'm not gonna argue. I'm not gonna argue. Like, I don't have a basis to argue.
It's fucking great. Comics Invictus says, are Ultimate Wolverine and Weapon X-Men already done? Wolverine Revenge finale, a total disappointment. So I didn't read Wolverine Revenge because I was so turned off by it, but I know Sully did. Did you like it?
I thought it was the strongest issue in the series. He lands,
but the series was awful.
Story.
So
yeah, exactly. But it's like, I mean, maybe it could have been 2 issues shorter. It
could have been 5 issues shorter.
The art is pretty darn good. Okay, there's a splash page at the end, and I would be giving it away if I were to describe it. And I just don't, just go and get it, or go and read it online and make up your own mind. And I thought it was okay. They go an okay ending to a.
It's better than the other issues, but it's still bad.
Weapon X-Men.
I would not recommend it.
Yeah,
is not.
Weapon X-Men is on issue number 2. It's supposed to have 12.
Mm-hmm. I thought that Chris Cross's art kind of took away from the Joe Casey story.
I thought Weapon X-Men 2 was good.
I thought it was good, but I thought the art was pretty flat in places. There are some panels that I'm just like, oh man, really? But
and then Ultimate Wolverine, I think, hit issue 3 this week, so there should be 3 more issues of that, I believe.
Which is also 3 too many.
Well,
I'm liking
fucking Dylan says it's great.
Yeah. I'm liking Ultimate Wolverine. It's good. Wolverine's Revenge, on the other hand, not. Wolverine's Revenge, I don't. Why is Nikolai the final fight? Where did that come from? This was. I don't understand anything in this book. It made no sense.
It's like
I don't get what Hickman
2.0.
I don't get what Hickman was going for.
It's like, remember in Nikolai, it reminds me of remember the Luke Cage series where you had Mahershala Ali as this great villain.
Oh yeah, then they kill him.
They kill him, and they
like
bring
2
in
episodes in.
like the most over the top like cornball villain to finish off the series.
Yeah. Mahershala Ali was great, and then they're like, "Here's his like female cousin that's gonna replace him now."
Well, here's Alfred Woodard, and then this dude that looks like Tony Todd on a crack binge. That's gonna come in and fight him at the end.
Yeah, this is Revenge is terrible.
He looked like the villain from The Running Man, the one that was played from the guy from RoboCop. That's who the final villain at the in Luke Cage reminded me of.
The fat
so
guy.
Who's your?
No,
I love the fat guy. That's my favorite Running Man.
That's my
killer.
favorite money. Yeah,
yeah,
one that does the
fat opera guy. Yeah, that guy's great.
He's great. Who's your favorite, Sparrow?
Oh, I liked. It's got to be the opera guy, actually.
You're not going with Jesse the Body?
No, I'm not going with Jesse the Body because he was just in the fake fight, the fake
Yeah.
like CG fight. He didn't actually really get to do it. Sub-Zero, now Total Zero.
Dylan, do you have a favorite Running Man killer guy that they have?
Nope.
You've seen the Running Man?
Nope.
Oh my
Oh, Dylan, we gotta Les, explain to Dylan how great the Running Man.
Running Man's fantastic.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a remake, and it's like Demolition Man that holds up with relevancy today. Being like,
I've seen Demolition Man. I have not seen Running Man.
Demolition Man's a good one too.
Mhm.
Running Man's just like
thing, Dylan. So back in the day, Family Feud was hosted by Richard Dawson, who would come out and make out with all of your wives and daughters, like right there on the stage. He would just kiss every woman on the mouth. It was bizarre. It was a bizarre time. But he ends up getting cast as the game show host in this post-apocalyptic future where they take criminals, and in order to get their freedom, which is they don't really get, that's all just part of the ruse. But they have to go through this really sadistic video game and fight these guys. And Schwarzenegger
on
is
a game show, on a nationally televised game show that is
Yeah.
the most popular show in America.
Yeah,
Oh,
and so
right.
so Arnold Schwarzenegger is the butcher of Bakersfield.
Yeah.
He supposedly killed all these people, but it was a setup because he refused some government orders to kill some civilians, and so they put him in this thing. But anyway, Richard Dawson is just chewing the scenery. He's so good. He just has this. He always comes out and he goes, "Who loves you? And who do you love?" And everybody cheers him, and he's just like he's having a good time, and it's worth it just for him. But it is like prime Schwarzenegger real estate in the 80s.
Mm-hmm. And
then every killer has a WWE gimmick. So one of them is like an opera singer that's got all these flashing lights and a weird roadster, and
he can do he can shoot electricity like Electro,
Yes.
and then there's Sub-Zero. Long before Mortal Kombat, there's a guy named Sub-Zero who freezes you, and then the guy from RoboCop who's got like flamethrowers.
Yeah, oh, that's a good one. You need to go check out The Running Man. That's great stuff.
Just imagine if Mega Man was a live action movie that was rated R.
Nerd says, ditch your PS3 and become part of the PC master race and play new and old games, X-Men Legends 2, Spider-Man Web of Shadows, Team T, Shredder's Revenge.
The way to go. He's right.
I mean, I don't disagree. I've got Shredder's Revenge on the PS5, but yeah, I want to upgrade my gaming PC and or just get a new one.
Exactly. I don't have a gaming PC. The PC I have is for audio and video editing and streaming.
We're waiting for Wes to get that great Meta PCs endorsement so that we can all cash in.
I would do it. I mean, I would love to be a PC gamer, although I probably don't have room in this house. But I don't know.
What are you talking about? I'm looking at all kinds of real estate behind you. Just set it up right in the middle of the room.
Yeah, true.
Oh yeah, with my 3-year-old, so we could break it immediately. You have no idea, like this whole thing that I'm doing here with the light, and the camera, and the microphone, and the screen, and the computer, and everything that I got, and the boom stand. All of this locks up and closes after I'm done. I had to do that because of my children.
Yeah,
they don't even know what's behind here at this point because they've never seen it. They're great, and I love them, and I wouldn't trade them for nothing. But they break everything. So there we go. Thank you very much to everybody for all the great stuff here. But I guess we should get into DC's Fart Fetish comic because we did get Harley Quinn Fartacular, the what is it? Silent but Deadly #1 Joed Stare, and it did kind of overshadow some stuff that came out this week. I am going to eventually get a Hush 2 review out, but I don't know. It's hard to ignore this one, Sully. I'm glad that you decided to
pretty easy to ignore
with myself.
I did.
Instead of Dylan, instead of ignoring the homework, Doc at least skimmed it.
I've seen pages people posted on Twitter, so
thank the lords of Kobol that we did not have the physical copy to resist the urge to, because once you scratch the page to sniff it, you're ruining its book value. It's no longer a 9.2. I mean, you probably at a 7.5 with that book now, and you're never going to resell it for $8. Recoup your costs there. And do you get this kind of book slabbed so you can preserve the scratch and sniff?
And the
You
scent
know.
will just build inside
Did
of
you
it
have
to
until,
get
it
until your
linger?
slab just starts to balloon.
Did you have
You need to
Did
get it
have to let
slabbed just to
linger?
protect your fucking olfactory senses.
Well, you need to keep it closed to protect your sanity.
Yeah, like your nose.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
that closed
so
it.
this is the perfect comic to get encapsulated.
Mhm.
That way you neither have to smell it or read it.
Whoever's saying no. But okay, looking at it kind of like critically, I guess. As a one shot, it's not entirely terrible. And
It's
I think
devoid of any real value.
that's why I was saying
anyway.
at the beginning of the show, I was thinking, okay, let me put this through a lens. Would the 10-year-old Sully be laughing his ass off, no pun, over all of the fart jokes and all the puns? Because it's puntastic. And that's, and that leads off in the name, the Fartacular. So
There's the
just
silent but with 2 T's, deadly. This is the cleverness that's on display.
Yeah,
here.
and it's dumb, but it's like these are dumb kids jokes. These are wine aunt jokes. They're not quite dad jokes. They're wine aunt jokes, and it reminds me of the kind of stupid jokes. Like a 10-year-old me would probably have like laughed his ass off over these stupid jokes, and
There's not a single joke. There's not a single joke in the book that lands.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's all up in the air.
And for them claiming that it's not a fetish book, it's just a joke book. The entire setup of the book is that Poison Ivy accidentally lets one go, and
Right.
Harley spends the rest of the book trying to smell her farts again.
Well, she spends a lot of her time, like with her head, in certain places.
Remember that this is supposed to be a model and celebrated LGBT relationship, and even in this is what it's reduced to.
Yeah.
So even from their perspective,
well, I get the whole like girls aren't supposed to fart thing. You know what I mean? Like ladies don't fart, and like so.
And let's keep it that way.
Ivy's a bit more proper and primitive than Harleen. We all, Harleen's like, on her own page.
I just remember there's the fart joke wasn't funny when they did it in Batman and Harley. It wasn't funny there in the Batmobile. It was disgusting. It's disgusting here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to read, and that's not a sexist thing. I don't want to read a book about men farting. It's like this book is for fetishists. And it should never have been greenlit. And if David Zaslav, if he found out that this book was published and he didn't immediately go on a firing spree at DC, like that we're trying to build this brand into something that we can sell off, or that that'll make us financially successful. And then the people that do the front line comic books, this is what they're doing. I would be like, okay, I'm gonna come in, and each one of you is gonna justify your job here. And a lot of you aren't going to be here at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Dylan, what do you think? Or Doc? Oh, Dylan didn't read it. He didn't.
I didn't read it, but also like
as a concept.
As far as farts go, also as like humor, it's like an audio thing. No one wants to read about farts. Like Blazing Saddles.
But you can draw like a green balloon coming out of somebody's butthole.
And
it's like
it's funny.
No one wants to read about farts or just simply scratch and smell them. Like farts have always been funny, but as like an audio thing, not as reading about them. Like there are plenty of movies that have hilarious fart jokes, but no one wants to read a comic about it. Nevertheless, pay $8 for it. What are we doing? And it's sad the state that Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy are in. Like these used to be good characters long ago.
Is there, like I said, is there a character that they've done more damage to, like than Harley Quinn?
Probably not. No, like look.
Good question.
Here's the thing. I flipped through a little bit of this comic. I couldn't bring myself to read the whole fucking thing. I mean, I really
you read one page and you've pretty much
that was kind of the gist I was getting. But look, this book is neither for 10-year-olds, but that's who it's appealing to.
Yes.
But it's also far too mature for 10-year-olds because there's a shit ton of jerk off jokes in there.
Mhm.
Yeah, and jizz jokes and
Yeah.
other stuff that like is not appropriate for the audience that this would be funny to.
Yes. So literally this is again appealing to this like micro demographic of autistic lesbians, like that with this like who somehow have developed the personality of eternal 12-year-old boy. Like there's kind of where we're stuck. You got it's for this kind of Arrested Development 20-something women audience that likes the concept of comics but doesn't buy them.
It's definitely a book for weirdos who don't buy comics to steal online. Like it's definitely appealing to that small of a demographic. And someone in the chat, I sorry I didn't get your name, but they said like this topic doesn't really even deserve 5 minutes. And you're right, the book does not deserve 5 minutes, but the overall topic, I think, of the damage that this sort of thing being greenlit, this sort of thing being celebrated and pushed by a major comic book publisher, that it does to the credibility of the industry. We talk all the time about how the industry has an inferiority complex. This book makes that inferiority complex deserve it. The fact that this exists from a major comic book, and the fact that they allowed Batman to appear in this book.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, okay, in a healthy comic book industry where you're selling your top 10 books are all selling in the 100K ish range for both publishers, where you're still making movies that people are dying to see, where you have a handful of cartoons that are going, you have action figure lines that people are buying. In that kind of a comic industry where the second, third order products are still bringing in boatloads and boatloads of cash, and your main comic line is a not only profitable but prosperous line, and where people are actually making solid careers, they're getting paid, the artists are getting paid $300 a page, cover artists are getting $1,000, which is not that long ago. That is not that long ago. In that industry, a book like this, if you release it and you kind of just dump it out there and people go like, what? It's a novelty act that you throw in there and you just say, fuck it, who cares? Because you have a healthy industry. Right now, we have a comic industry that is basically in fucking hospice care. You're waiting for somebody to put it out of its goddamn misery. And you come out and not only that, but you're making a big deal about this. And you're overcharging for a novelty ink that was put on this comic, that is scratch and sniff. You're not only promoting it, but you're overcharging for it. And
that comes out the same week that you're trying to rehabilitate Batman from Chip Zdarsky's run, and you're putting out Hush and trying to build excitement for your comic book line.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes out the same week as this.
And Superman
and here, the
and
fact
Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Your market share, like your hog, dude. Marvel alone had 23 new releases this week, and DC had a big week too. I mean, geez, the new release shelves were mobbed this week.
But this comic has a place, I guess, sort of. I mean, it goes out there.
Funny.
Are we far away though from the Plastic Man is everybody's condom in the DC universe? Fetish special.
No, you're not. You're not that far away from that. You're not that far away from essentially licensing softcore porn comics. with Wonder Woman, oops, she accidentally signed up to do a gangbang video. Like, this is the kind of bullshit that's where you're not that far away from. And it's unfortunate. So this comic shouldn't exist.
Rhaegar Targaryen says, yes, it has a place in a garbage can. I think that sums it up.
I just want to know, like, what actual comic, because we're in almost a broken window fallacy situation right now where people think that this is good. What actual comics that people might have wanted to buy or read could have been published with, or how many other creators could you have, I don't know, what good penciler could you have given an extra $10 a page to and kept them in at DC, or better writer that you could have given $20 a page extra to script for you, that you when you wasted that money instead making this piece of trash.
We can't have comics that are for the male gaze. We can't have characters be
No,
sexy.
it's for the female gaze.
But here,
G-A-Y-S.
if you like a fecal blast in the face, we've got the comic for you.
Yeah, I mean, she farts and she literally just tries to suck more farts out of her ass.
Mm-hmm.
They said it wasn't a fart fetish comic book. It is.
I mean, look, honestly, can we go back to Psycho Slutty Cheerleader Harley? It's still a step above, like, fetishy lesbian Harley.
Yeah, I thought we hit rock bottom with Harley when they did the New 52 and she referred to her vagina as a clown car. But like this is so much worse.
I thought we hit rock bottom when T. Franklin was writing Harley Quinn.
Yeah, no, we found a new bottom. We found somebody worse than T. Franklin, someone more perverse than T. Franklin to write Harley.
Once again, proving my statement. If you think it can't get any worse, you merely lack sufficient imagination.
Just wait a minute. Really, I see this.
Doc, this is one of those situations when I hate the fact that you were right.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, it was weird stuff. It was a huge week, and they kind of. This is what's getting the mainstream attention instead of Hush 2.
I would say they shit the bed, but that would be too punny for this.
That was the point of the book. Oh God! Somebody talk about some good comics that came out this week before I bash my head to the desk.
Aw.
You know what? I'm going to talk about the fact that I went to an actual comic book convention.
Ooh.
Just comics. Literally.
Did you see Neon?
You know what? I didn't. We went fairly late. And there was probably 30 vendors in there, maybe 40. Nothing but comic books. I mean, like, one of them also had some old pins and stuff, but still 90% of their table was still 95% of their table was comics. Nothing. Nice. There was no Funko bullshit. Honestly, kind of miss not having some action figures there, but I went and just bought old comics. It was great. It was a bunch. And you know what I found? When you have just comic conventions, the nerds there actually wear deodorant.
Well, very nice.
Zero cosplayers too.
If you want to see Doc together with Neon, you just need to pick up Kneel Before Doomface #1. They're in a crowd scene together.
Very nice. Jocker 2 says Fireball, played by Jim Brown, Buzzsaw, Sub-Zero before Plane Zero, Captain Freedom was Jesse Ventura, and Dynamo, the light bulb guy.
Dynamo, that's what it was. Yeah.
Yes, they're called gladiators.
Isn't Jim Brown's Fireball? Isn't he the one that's if I recall, he's the one that's retired, and because Schwarzenegger is tearing through everybody, they
bring him back from.
Mm-hmm. I felt bad for him. Plus, I was already predisposed to liking him from RoboCop, and then when they make him suit up and get out there, I was like, oh no.
That's the first movie with I'll Be Back, right?
I think so.
No,
Terminator.
He did. Terminator. He did it in Terminator.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you get the nice little play. He says, "I'll be back" to Killian, and Killian goes, "Only in a rerun."
Hey, this is a good one. There's been a lot of different versions. There's a Stone Cold Steve Austin version called The Condemned. Did you ever see that one?
Also worth seeing. Yep.
Definitely
If anything, Stone Cold should have been a bigger star than The Rock. Like that Walking Tall movie
As
should have
an
been
actor?
Stone Cold. Yeah, should have been Stone Cold.
yeah.
Not The Rock.
Yeah, he was way better than Condemned. That was a fucking good movie.
I loved him in Expendables.
Yeah, he was great in Expendables.
He's the only thing that was halfway decent in The Longest Yard, too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a bad remake. Not very good at all. Nerd says, the games I just named work on your PC, especially if you do audio and video editing. I can give you a list of games that you can play. Follow Cybertron.
But can Wes and I play, can we play battle maps in the Arkham games together? That's what we want to know.
I don't know, man. If I start using my computer for video games, I'll stop doing audio and video. I'll stop working. You know what I mean?
I can't do this video, Aaron, and I got to take down the Riddler.
So, Dylan, you're a video game, but you're also obviously a streamer and everything. Is that a genuine concern, or are you able to manage it to where you're using the same PC for everything?
Yeah, you can use it for everything. You just gotta, you just gotta have some willpower. You can do it. Yeah. Yeah, you can do it. And like you said, like a lot of the games he was naming earlier are old games that you can run on anything. Or like Shredder's Revenge, which you could run on a potato. So yeah, there's a lot of games. And then Steam's always having sales, so it doesn't cost like anything to play them. So yeah,
I bought this Chinese thing, which was basically a Android phone that had like a little joystick controller pad on it. And it took me 5 hours, and I loaded all these NES, Super NES, Nintendo 64, Sega Genesis, like 13,000 games on this thing. It was pretty badass.
Nice. That sounds sick. Yeah, they have like all types of old school games on Steam too that you can play. Like even what we were talking about earlier, Shadows of the Empire. That's on there. You can play that.
Yeah, but I don't have do I have to get a remote control? Do I Bluetooth it?
You could do it with your keyboard and mouse. If you want to, you can do it with any type of controller, but you can do it with your keyboard and mouse too.
I don't know. That feels too funny to me. I remember playing Sherlock Holmes on a computer, but I was answering questions.
Yeah, you can play like every game with your keyboard and mouse, but if you want to play with some type of controller, you gotta buy it.
Do they have the Oregon Trail that wasn't just typing out stuff, where it was actually the visuals too? Do they have that on Steam?
I'm not sure. They might have that on GOG, which is Good Old Games, and they're the ones that have like a lot of the older games too. I feel like GOG probably has Oregon Trail. I'd bet. I don't know if Steam does, but I bet GOG does.
Wait, can I go back and play old school Sierra Online games like Heroes Quest, Quest for Glory, King's Quest, Leisure Suit Larry, Space Quest? There's a lot of quests from Sierra Online.
Possibly.
Man, I remember loving that Oregon Trail game where you got to go out and shoot, and you got to shoot the wild animals, and your kids would die of starvation.
Yeah, I was about to say everyone died of like someone got bit by a rattlesnake, someone starved, someone froze because you only had enough blankets for like one of your kids. Yeah.
Or you try to be cheap to go across the river, and you didn't want to pay for a freaking ferry, so you try to just take the thing over, and you lose a couple of the kids along the way.
Yeah. That was my sister played that all the time. She'd name each character after us. She'd be like, "Oh, you a buzzard came and carried you away. You died." Like, oh well.
Was that a danger on the Oregon Trail? Being carried away by a buzzard?
There's like you could die a million different ways in that game. It's hilarious.
I love that game, and then obviously, Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego is a really good one.
Yep. But that's actually at Emerald City Comic Con. I saw a really good Carmen Sandiego cosplayer. It was cool.
Carmen Sandiego was totally cool. Like back before they tried to do the reboot, where she was, she was socially conscious.
Did you ever play Where in Time as Carmen Sandiego?
I don't know if I played that one. I played a couple of them, but it was so long ago. I don't remember the name of any of the games, but I played a couple of them.
I know they had a TV show, but it wasn't as good.
The TV show was like a game show.
Yeah.
It was on like PBS.
Exactly. Nerd says, there's a theory that the comic division is a loss leader. It's just there to help with the tax write-offs for their movies and other important stuff.
I mean,
Everything that I've ever
be a
been
tax
told
write-off.
is that Marvel and DC, while not wildly popular or profitable, are profitable as they are.
now part of it, they're not a loss leader. They have to maintain profitability. But they're not concerned about the level of profit. From everything I understand, it's just, it serves a multitude of purposes for them. One, essentially R&D.
And ownership of the characters.
Well, the R&D
keeping
should have
IP.
told them. The R&D should have told them that none of these Phase 4 and 5 characters that they forced on us in the movies were going to work, because the R&D from the comics told them it wasn't going to work.
Well, they didn't learn the right lesson from all the pre-MCU superhero movies and the MCU's first few phases, which was the ones that hew closest to the comic in both characterization and storyline
And costuming.
and costuming, and that storyline was popular in the comics. Those are the most successful movies. It's not a way to get something bad into something profitable. It's a way to amplify something that's already seen
A
as
proven
good.
success. Yeah, that's already got a track record of resonating with people.
Yeah.
This is when you talk about the profitability of Marvel and things like that, that's one of those conversations where we really need to have Perch. So he's got a lot of inside knowledge and of how it actually works and what they're actually doing. If they didn't have to be profitable, they wouldn't constantly cornhole their customers and their retailers with the multiple variants. They have to make some money.
Yeah. The reason they have to do all these variants now, which they weren't even doing 5 years ago, is to keep profitability.
Mm-hmm.
They're treating them like baseball cards and collectibles rather than stories.
I'm surprised the Fartacular it only got 2 variant covers, and Harley and Ivy are their cheesecake. They are the cover girls.
Wait, just
That
so
is
I'm
surprising.
clear, there's 3 covers for it? Okay.
Yes, there are.
Nice.
At this
Sleeve
point,
it-
I just want Punchline to murder Harley Quinn.
Sleeve McDakel says stuff like this doesn't exist in a vacuum. Harley and Ivy were created by people with actual creativity. Even in a healthy industry, this would be a problem. It shows a lack of verisimilitude.
Yeah.
Nice word.
This is this is the standard thing of people standing on the shoulders of giants. But instead of taking the next step, they take 8 steps back.
Well, they've certainly taken a lot of steps back with Harley Quinn. I think at one point that they thought she was going to be like the other part of the Trinity with Batman and Superman. Like she was going to be another pillar for DC Comics, but that is clearly not the case anymore.
Yeah, like
Someone in
10
the
years
chat,
ago.
and again, I forgot whose name it was, but I do want to recognize what they said. Is I asked the question: is there any character that DC has ruined more than Harley Quinn? And they said Tim Drake, and that is absolutely correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would also put Arsenal maybe up in there, but I don't know what they ruined, but they just did so many terrible things to him.
Well, he was
Yeah,
like I'm
Deathstroke
talking about like a
up there,
character
too.
that really had sales potential, because Robin has carried his own. Tim Drake Robin carried his own series for years when it had talented writers on.
I would say
you had
John
Jackson,
Kent
yeah,
is
Mike
number one.
Marinko. John Kent. Well, John Kent potential. He was popular. He didn't get to where he could have been, but yeah, they definitely hobbled him out pretty quickly out of the gate when they let Bendis age him up and then let Tom Taylor try to get his GLAAD award with him as the vehicle.
What do you think
too.
is worse, Dylan? Is it John Kent? Is it Tim Drake? Is it Harley Quinn?
Man, John, because I feel like you can get out of Tim Drake and Harley Quinn. Like if you got a talented writer on there, you could fix them to where John Kent is really, I think he's in the deepest hole to fix. I think he's the hardest, but they've all been done dirty. And like I was just saying, Deathstroke's one of my favorite, and he's been done dirty forever.
You could easily
makes me
fix-
sad for the state of Deathstroke.
You could easily
No, I'm
fix
not
John
reading Titans
Kent.
currently.
And say you could
Deathstroke's
easily
in
fix John
Titans.
Kent if you had the will to fix John Kent, you could do it. But nobody at DC will have the will because it would get them too much backlash from Reddit, and 12 weirdos on X. Is that you just say, this is not John Kent, this is a clone, and the actual
but
kid
exactly.
John
They
Kent
want
is
you
still,
can't do that though.
You
like
can't do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like if you
So-
could anytime, now would be the time because
Yeah.
there's such a pushback against all of this stuff. Now would be the time that you could actually do it, but they just won't because they don't want to.
Well, you'd also have to hire a writer that thought that was a good idea.
Yeah.
I
The
do
only
it.
people-
I don't care. I don't care if you don't like me. Everybody online wants to fight me.
Well, here's the thing. I don't think you can fix Tim Drake. You don't come back from getting fucked in the ass. Sorry.
That's why when they did the but there is some truth to that because remember when they did the R storyline in Invincible, they said like Invincible was going to get assaulted, and immediately I was like, not by a man, he's not. They're not doing that. Robert Kirkman's not good. He doesn't have the balls for that because he knows inherently that once that happens to a character, your male audience will view that character differently.
Yeah.
And you had the chance to actually really try to do that story and, make it compelling and make it tragic and show the reality of male on male violence. But instead he did the big hot alien chick raping him. And, and you had like a lot of male readers that are like, oh, I wish that, I wish some alien chick, would blah, blah, blah. It's like, it doesn't land.
Yeah. Sorry, you don't come back from that.
Jasper Player 9 wants to know, is Connor Kent still in any titles? Yes, he's right now in Green Lantern and Green Lantern Corps. He's teaming up with Kyle Rayner in a new character called Odyssey, and they have like a little romance brewing there. And then Deathstroke is in Titans right now. He's like the big villain behind the scenes setting them up. If you're interested, Dylan.
I have no faith in that being good.
Eddie Brock 9043. Thoughts on all new Venom Identity League? RIP ISM. Yeah, we kind of got into a little bit.
I don't believe it.
I'm not sold on it.
I don't believe it
it's
just
a ruse.
because I think MJ was inside the costume, but there's still someone inside the costume. Like,
Yeah,
he basically
Paul let her borrow it.
It's no. What I mean is it's Paul still in there. Paul grabbed her, basically enveloped her inside the costume. So she's all like rubbing up against him inside of it. But the exterior doesn't really change. Because if you look at every other Venom, when they take the mask off and their head comes out, the Venom head pulls back. Literally every single time they have ever done this. Doesn't matter if it's Venom, if it's Shriek, if it's Carnage. When the person wearing the Venom symbiote, like that's actually the host and that it's bonded to, when they unmask, the Venom, the symbiote face pulls back. The symbiote face doesn't pull back on this interior page. It's sitting above her head.
What if the Venom mask comes off and it's Vince McMahon underneath? It was me, Austin. It was me the whole time.
That would actually be about par for the course.
I mean, it would be a swerve. That's for sure.
But yeah, so it's almost definitely, I think that this actually reinforces this is a swerve to hide the fact that it is the most predictable.
It's a red herring.
Paul.
Doc.
Yes, it's a red herring. To hide the fact that it's Paul from when they actually unmask him as Paul.
Nerd says, I suggest a fight stick for Wes to play old games. And yes, Aaron, GOG games or GOG allows you to play old games down to Ultimate Games in Dino Crisis.
Oh, love it.
Is this what you wanted to hear?
That is what I wanted to hear.
Well, the GOG has a ton of old games. They're super cheap too.
You have to pay for them? You don't just pay for a subscription and get access to everything?
No, you pay for them, you own them.
You don't own them. It's digital.
Yeah,
You
but
own
you got
nothing
'em.
digital.
But don't you
Well,
touch down?
Generally, you don't, but you can download them. And that's the thing, though, because like Steam, like if you buy a game and then it gets taken off of Steam, you still own it. Like freaking the Marvel Activision games have the licensing on that is so weird that they constantly are going in and out of Steam. I bought like Deadpool forever ago. I own that. Like I have
As
it.
long as
even when
you have it stored locally.
as long as when it still gets pulled off, you still have it on Steam. You still have it in your library. Steam doesn't ever take it away from you. They could if they wanted to, but they don't. When it gets taken off the Steam store, it's still in your library.
Well, it's different than iTunes, I can tell you that.
It's digital licensing doesn't typically work like that. So this must be a second. There's 2 licenses you're dealing with.
Yeah, because
maybe that's what you have to do to get it on Steam. Is they're like, yeah, but look, you can't. Once they buy it, you can't. You can pull it, and we won't sell it anymore. But the people that bought it still have it.
Yeah, because that's how it is with all the games I've had on Steam when it's been pulled from the Steam store. I still have it on my library, and I mean, when I don't have it installed locally, it's still there in my library where I can download it anytime.
Very nice.
All right. Well, I mean, but a reminder to all listeners, you own nothing digitally. You have an indefinite license for access.
Yeah, seek out physical media wherever possible.
Or store locally.
Calb says that cast reveal for Doomsday was stupid, and I couldn't agree more. We should talk about this MCU Doomsday casting stream. So, Aaron and I were about to record the Geek Fix for the Patreon, which is like a 2.5-hour recording. And I'm like, okay, I need to find out what this information is. It's going to drop an hour before we start, and we'll make a video on it. And then I realized it's people's names on chairs. So we didn't obviously record a video on that. We record the entire 2.5-hour recording an hour later. And when we were done, Aaron, what was still going on?
It was still going on. They were still showing chairs. And when we came on, like Wes goes, we were going to recover this announcement from Marvel, but it's just chairs. And I'm like, what? And he starts telling me what's going on. And I started laughing like uncontrollably because I was like, my God, this is the best idea. First of all, Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom was the best idea Kevin Feige had to save the Marvel Universe. And now the best idea they have to promote it is chairs with the actors' names on them. Not telling you what the story is going to be because, they're probably going to try to figure it out in the editing room like they've been doing with Phase 4 and 5. It's like, this is all that they have is just announcing, hey, all the C-list characters, D-list characters we've shoved down your throat for the last 5 years that you haven't cared about? Well, now they're all in one movie. So instead of having to ignore 15 movies, you can ignore one. When they got to Namor, I was dying. I was dying because I was like, who the hell cares? Shang-Chi and Namor. Oh, can't wait to see them interact. Oh. There's no build up to this. It's just going to be just like shoving this. Nostalgia is all they have left. It's ridiculous.
It's like Oprah, and you're an Avenger, and you're an Avenger, and you're an Avenger, and you're an Avenger.
We just had that nice heartfelt goodbye to the X-Men universe and Deadpool and Wolverine. It was handled well. I was like, all right, this is good, saying goodbye. And it's like, nope, they're back. They're all back in this.
My God, they're gonna put poor Patrick Stewart. Like, we've seen Professor Xavier die on screen 3 times. They're not gonna be happy until we see actual Patrick Stewart die on screen. Oh. Like, the man is in his 80s. He's frail. He can barely get around. Ian McKellen, I think, is much the same way. And you guys are going to drag him out there. And, maybe you're going to do him digitally. I don't know. But it's just like, what are you doing?
Ian McKellen fell off stage not that long ago doing, in theater. He fell off stage. It's like, now they're bringing him back.
I mean, I love both those guys as actors. And Ian McKellen will always be the perfect Gandalf. Like, that casting was just chef's kiss. This is just... Everything that you're doing has way more chance of destroying any goodwill for the older films that you could maybe still sell Blu-rays of, if you just left them alone. But you keep going back to the well because that's all that you have. All that you have is look at the jangly keys. Look at the jangly keys. Don't think. Just look at the keys. Please, for the love of God, would you just look at the keys?
The crazy part is there's probably people out there that watch the stream.
Yeah, there definitely were.
Big to happen.
I mean, your usual shill influencers that go, "Oh my God, let's effing go!" for everything.
Maybe they were just trying to get monetized. They need public view hours.
Well, probably got that.
Hold on, a 15-hour chair stream.
And
It was
they
wild.
spoiled.
I should do that.
They spoiled Thunderbolts, where it's like, oh, are people actually going to die in this movie? It's like, oh, well, we know who's going to die. That abomination of Taskmaster, and everyone else is going to be fine because they're all in Doomsday.
And I love Olga Kurylenko. Like, go watch the Hitman movie with her and Timothy Oliphant. She's amazing. She's gorgeous. And you waste the character of Taskmaster. You waste an actress. It's just depressing.
And Ghost is back, which makes me sad. I wish Ghost would just die. Who cares about that character?
It's not again. It's just you taskmastered Ghost. You're like, it's a lady now. Yeah. Okay.
All I know is that Ant-Man and the Wasp movie was like the last MCU movie I could get my wife to watch. She thought it was that
bad.
stupid.
And they wasted Walton Goggins in that movie too.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yes. Why would you?
Walton Goggins, you could give him an actual good role in the MCU, and you have him as a throwaway character in Ant-Man and the Wasp.
You wasted Sam Neill in the Thor movies.
Yeah. Yep. I don't know. Nothing really to get excited about. It's all the stuff that you kind of expected with a couple of spoilers on characters that aren't coming back.
Yep. And we don't even have an Avengers team, though, which is so stupid. Like, that's what Captain America was tasked with in the last movie. Falcon was told, he's like, put together the Avengers. He's like, all right, maybe. It's like, we don't even have an Avengers team. And now we just have the X-Men, and what is even going on?
Well, and especially when you know that the X-Men cameo is going to be like Doom showing up in their world and destroying it, or it getting destroyed as this, cataclysmic, thing is happening, as these incursions are crushing, each dimension, and then Doom has to form Battle World. That's what it's going to be. And when you go like, after just the abysmal failure that was Captain America 4, the fact that America as a whole rejected the idea of Falcon as Captain America by just not caring about that movie. And then one of the third or fourth chair you pan to is Anthony Mackie. Who cares? And the funny thing is that Marvel and Hollywood still thinks that celebrities are a thing. They think that these, by showing us the name of some actors, we're going to be like, ooh, and we're way past that point. With the MCU, the actors have never been the stars. The characters have been the stars. That's why when the actors go on to do other things, they're not successful, is because nobody's invested in Chris Evans. People are invested in Chris Evans as Captain America.
Man, I thought Snowpiercer was the fucking shit, dude.
No, he's done some good stuff, and I didn't hate The Gray Man. I had some fun watching that, but
he was the best part of The Gray Man. I didn't care for that movie, but he was the best part. He had a lot of fun with that role.
He's the best part of The Losers. He's the best part. I don't know. But Jeffrey Dean Morgan's in that too. But he's the best part of. Losers is good. He's the best part of Not Another Teen Movie. He's the best part of Scott Pilgrim. He's the best part of. It's like he's good. He's entertaining.
He is. I just think he needs a better agent, probably.
Mm-hmm. But it's just like there's no celebrities anymore. It's not his fault. It's just the fact that social media has exposed celebrities as who they are, and the public doesn't like them largely. So, you don't have stars anymore. There's no mystique. There's no reason to go and see them or to watch their projects because you get enough of them on social media.
They're not stars anymore. They're balls of gas.
Very few movie stars anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So Matt Damon was Loki and Sam Neill was Odin, correct?
That sounds right.
Yeah. Somebody's asked some questions. I think that's what it is.
Matt Damon.
A play within the movie. I don't know if Snowpiercer is out in capitalism. I wasn't thinking about it like that, but it was pretty gross, and I kind of liked it.
I'm fine with a movie that's against capitalism gone wild.
It doesn't feel like it's capitalism. That feels like it was caste system.
Yes.
I think that's a more accurate description. I'd have to rewatch it. I didn't,
nobody's making money there. There's nobody they're the have-nots, but they're at the back of the bus because they're the untouchables. They're eating cockroaches.
It was just your basic class warfare.
Yeah.
I swear, Wes, when you said back of the bus, I thought you were going to do the Riddick and be like, all back of the bus and shit.
No, I saw In Time. That was definitely anti-capitalism.
Yeah, but it was another I don't know if, again, I don't think it's necessarily anti-capitalism so much as anti-classism. It's just a class warfare movie. I don't think these are necessarily, by definition, anti-capitalist. They're just anti-burning the ladder behind you.
I always think that it's funny that when you have an industry that runs off of an elite caste system and making money at all costs, that in order to survive, when they come out and lecture you about class systems and capitalism.
Oh,
it's
absolutely.
A Disney movie with an anti-capitalist message is always hilarious to me. It's like you guys thanked a concentration camp. Sit the F down.
I like Snowpiercer. I thought In Time was absolutely terrible. Yeah, it's all about the execution, I guess. When they stuck the dude's arm out as a punishment and like shattered it, that was great.
Well, I think this is. It also feels like an anti-Bill Gates bullshit climate change. Hey, let's put shit in the atmosphere to cool the earth down movie.
We got to block out the sun. He's basically Mr. Burns.
Yes.
The Fallout show was like that though, with its, I don't know if anyone watched the Fallout show, with its anti-capitalism thing, because the games are all about like, yeah, it was good, but the anti-capitalist thing was really stupid because it makes no sense for their plans on making money. They're just like, yeah, let's like kill almost everyone so we can sell our vaults, and it doesn't make any sense. But the games were anti-war, and the first nukes were fired by China, and the like original creator came out and said, yeah, they weren't anti-capitalist, they were about like anti-war. And then people were mad about it because the show is all about capitalism caused the apocalypse, and that's what caused all this. Still, I enjoyed the show, but that part was really stupid.
Remember Superman Returns and Lex Luthor's big like scheme is going to have kryptonite create a new continent that people can live on even though it can't grow anything? I was like, how fucking
well, also,
not only that,
also
but
he's going to crush he's going to crush the world economy, and it's like, and then sell real estate.
Yeah,
that's literally like what Fallout was, where it's like, we're going to nuke the entire world, and that'll make us more money.
Hey, look.
Well, it was like the Umbrella Corporation in the Resident Evil movies. It's like, in the games, they're working on bioweapons for warfare, and it gets out of control, and that's, then they have to respond to it. But in the movies, it seems like Umbrella wants to infect everybody with the zombie virus and destroy civilization and then profit ?
Yeah. Well, no, what it is this is what happens when you take movies, TV shows, video games, whatever, and adapt them by Hollywood idiot commies that don't understand capitalism in order to write a story about capitalism bad, because they always skip, they become the fucking underpants gnomes, because they don't understand how you get from that, so they just kind of hand wave it away and just be like, yep, and we're going to destroy the world for profit.
Because that's profitable. Yeah.
And it's coming from Amazon, so it's like
it should be like Spike should be like Spike in the season 2 finale of Buffy. Like, you guys are like Happy Meal's own feet. I like having you around. Angel's got it figured out. He's gonna goodbye Piccadilly Circus and everything. Love that. No,
Piccadilly Circus, probably my favorite place in London when I've been there. Very, very nice. Might not be so cool anymore. Looks like London's not quite as nice as it used to be. Who knows? Should we hear for the peoples? We do have a few super chats before we get to these comic book recommendations. Geod says, Batman 158 is so bad and is filled with so many continuity errors, it's insulting to Batman 608 through 619. The Killing Joke reference is dumb. And I must say, Dylan, while I don't think it's as bad as Dion says it is, I'm much closer to the Dion camp than I am to your camp, where you said it was pretty good.
I liked it. I had a good time. On my video,
explain yourself.
It was good, dude. Hush comes in like a force of nature. He comes in and he's just like, to make a statement to Batman, he's like, you think Joker's your number one guy? He's your number one. No, it's me. And he just completely destroys Joker. I was laughing when he spins him around on the freaking circus thing and starts throwing the scalpels at him and hits him with every single one. That was great. I loved that. It's not the greatest comic of all time or anything, but it's a good start, and I liked it, especially coming off what we just had with Zarsky's dog shit. It was a welcome change, and I liked it. I would give it like a 7.5 if I had to rate it on like a scale of 1 to 10. I thought it was good.
I think I'm closer to like a 5, but it sounds like Dion's on a 1 level or something. Although it's hard to give it a 1 because the art is good. It's just not as good as Hush.
Yeah. But Hush is also one of the greatest illustrated comics of all time. So
it might be the best illustrated Batman comic of all time, which is saying something because you got Neil Adams doing probably his best work on Batman, and Brian Bowling doing some of his best work on Batman and a lot of other things. So.
Graham Nolan and Norm Brayfogle and
yes, I mean Batman's had the best art.
Great.
Yeah, but I don't know. Seemed like it was going to be a big deal. It was let down to me.
I liked it. I think it's worth reading.
So you're in the anti-Dion camp, though. You're like, it's not that.
Well, yeah, I'm in the. It's a good comic. I'd say it's worth reading if you're interested in it. Check it out.
Yeah. Nerd says it's look at the flowers, Aaron, not keys.
Ooh, I get that reference.
Oh.
Ooh.
So what's the reference? I don't get it.
It's Walking Dead. It's Carol.
Oh.
Yeah, Carol, and look at the flowers. Oof. That's heavy.
When she kills him.
The kid.
Yeah, the little boy.
Girl.
Was it a girl that was killed?
Girl.
Serial killer? Yeah.
Mm.
It's been a while since I saw that episode.
Very my god, that's so apt because I feel like this is the 2 bullets in the back of the head of the MCU. Let it die already. Just let it die.
So Sully, have you watched the Walking Dead news shows like the Book of Daryl?
I only made it up to Terminus in the show, and I'm
Oh, you didn't make it very far. That's like season 3.
It didn't hold me very well. Yeah, I love the book. I love the comic, but yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Plus,
Figueroa. Honestly, the only movie that seems somewhat promising is Superman. Everything else is a small hit or a major miss.
I think Lilo and Stitch is going to make over $1 billion.
I think so too.
No way.
Yeah, I think it is.
Oh.
I think it is.
It
You
looks,
never know.
It looks eminently amusing. It's going to hit the target audience.
People love Stitch.
Yes, people love Stitch. They didn't fucking pre-fixing it Sonic Stitch. They didn't make him look like this absolute inhuman monstrosity. They made him look like the cartoon character. It doesn't, at least from the trailer, it doesn't appear to deviate in some wild way to modern audience the movie, and it doesn't look like anybody's throwing their weird personal politics. And
no, it actually looks like they took some weird potential for politics out by now I don't know if, because we've only seen the trailer, but the trans activists were already complaining that they take the alien out of drag, like in the cartoon, but in the cartoon it was played like all of those things were back in the day for laughs, a guy dressed like a woman. Isn't that ridiculous?
Yeah.
Ha ha ha. Which you can't do anymore. So whether they took it out for political correctness because they're like, we can't make a joke about this, or because they just didn't want the Reddit weirdos talking about how this character is transcoded, either way it looks like they're trying to
also for budget too, because you'd have to CG the alien the whole time, because when they're in drag they're still an alien, to where here it's like, it's just like some dude, so you don't have to CG that at all.
Yeah,
I feel like that's part of it too.
Yeah. I think Jurassic World Rebirth will do better than Lilo and Stitch and Superman.
I don't think you're wrong.
Definitely see that. Yeah, the Jurassic World movies all made like $1 billion. So
even those last two, all the Jurassic World,
they were all bad, but they all made.
But they got progressively worse.
The first one was fine. It was just a remake of the original movie. It was great. Well, not great. It was good.
It was fun. I mean, look, when you go, this is the thing. I thought that there was no way that they could mess up a Jurassic Park movie for me, because I was like, as long as there's dinosaurs running around killing people, I'm probably going to be fairly okay with the movie, because that's what I'm going for. That's all that I'm going for, is show me cool dinosaurs and have them just eating people. But the Jurassic World movies pushed that. And by the third one, where they're like, this one's really all about locusts. and Tim Cook from Apple. I was just like, I can't with these movies. And bringing back poor Sam Neill and Laura Dern and making them like run through that movie.
The first one had Vincent D'Onofrio trying to make dinosaurs for the military. That movie.
They've wanted to do that for so long. Like so many of the Jurassic Park pitches over the years have involved a guy wants to use the dinosaurs for military. Yeah, even though it makes no goddamn sense.
So stupid.
You shine this. You get close enough to
you
shine
need
this
Neuralink, and then you could control the dinosaur.
Well, I guess they're looking at it like war dogs. I mean, they're trying to turn them into more vicious versions of war dogs.
I'm not saying that there wouldn't be a guy in real life that wants to make dinosaurs military, assets. I mean, John Bolton is a guy that exists in real life.
Yes,
that guy would definitely want to use dinosaurs as war weapons.
Also, I mean, I would definitely join the military if I could ride a Triceratops into battle. But that's just me.
Yeah, just be part of the 331st Triceratops Brigade.
Yes,
that'd be amazing.
I think that movie will do well. I do not have high hopes for Doomsday. I think it might do like an Ultron number instead of a other Avenger movie number.
Yeah, I think you might be right.
How much money is that movie going to cost with all those actors? It's got to be like
so much,
like $550 million or something.
You're going to be looking that movie. I don't think it will be profitable unless it hits $2 billion.
I don't think it's intended to be profitable. I think that they're looking at, we have to save the franchise so that future movies can be profitable. And this is how we're going to do it. It's the wrong strategy. I don't think it's going to pay off for them. And it's not going to say, just make a good movie and then make a couple of good movies, because you have to build back up. You've lost so much goodwill. You have to start from scratch, basically, but they're not. They're trying to hotshot it, just like DC has always tried to hotshot their cinematic universe. It's like, no, the reason that the MCU worked is because it was a slow build and it gained momentum.
Yeah. It built upon itself. You had a foundation. This is them trying to build on mud.
Yeah, it's the Justice League, what they try to do on the DCEU, where they just
try to
make
jump
it happen
right to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Dion says, how much does a writer of the Harley Fetish comic earn in a year? So that would be Joanne's share. I do not know. Whatever that amount is, it's that amount too much.
I would say that Joanne Starer. I'm not going to guess an exact number, but she doesn't do a lot of comic books.
No, she probably does other writing. She probably does some speaking gigs.
She's probably a librarian. She's got a government job,
college campuses and shit like that.
Yeah. You're probably looking. I mean, I looked. I just
lives
looked
in New
at
York
her,
City, so it's probably $100,000.
I literally looked at her website, like her personal website. It does not have. I mean, she did like 2 indie comics last year. Do we want to all see her book, The Shameless Feminists?
Yeah. I don't believe the comic book is going to be your main source of revenue.
Yeah, I can guarantee.
Doing other activist kind of stuff. Probably making money there.
I mean, the fact that you can write a book called whatever that title was, the doc just rattled off. The fact that you can write a book called that and make money off of it is an indictment of the current culture itself.
She also did another comic called Total Suplex of the Heart.
Now we're speaking my language.
So
Dylan, I saw you do one of these. Have you been working out? What, you got the gun show going? Are you working MMA?
Not MMA, but yeah, I work out. Gotta stay healthy.
Dude, that's not fair. You can't be showing up in Dallas in shape.
Uh-oh. Don't worry.
You guys should be in shape. What do you mean?
Round is a shape.
Yeah. That works.
Nah,
just like tits or organs.
Entire crew. Let's
get you guys still got about like 2 months. Everyone get jacked before.
I was actually working out and doing all that stuff, but then I had my surgery. I've had to take like 6 weeks off, unfortunately. But it's whatever. Let's get to some comic book recommendations. Dylan, we've been talking about some of the new books this week. What do you recommend?
Far Down Below #1, the new Chris Condon indie from Mad Cave. It's pretty good, a little horror book. Falling in Love on the Path to Hell #7. This book has been up and down for me, but I liked issue 7. Stuff actually happened in it. The art is fantastic. I love the way it looks, but it's coming off like a 2 months hiatus, and I enjoyed it. Batman 158. I know it's a lot of mixed things for people, but I enjoyed it. Batman: The Long Halloween, The Last Halloween #6. This is one of the better issues. Pretty good. Green Arrow #22. I'm still really enjoying Green Arrow. And then Ultimate Wolverine #3. I'm having a lot of fun with Ultimate Wolverine. So this is my recommendation.
Very nice. Is there anything people should be looking out for you? You got a big podcast coming up, maybe a live stream? Can people play games with you?
Yeah, I've been streaming every Thursday now. I just started like a couple weeks ago, just talking about the new comics that come out each week. So I've got a couple of those streams up already. And also I did my review of Hush 2. That's up. So yeah, go check that out.
Very nice. Are you going to do a Harley Quinn Fartacular review?
Nope, no plans on that at all.
Come on.
Didn't even read the goddamn
Read
thing.
it. It's in the link, dude.
No, you don't need to. You don't need to read it, Dylan. All you need to do is go.
Shit.
The Harley Quinn Fartacular is a thing that exists.
Smell the pain, dude.
And it's everything that you think that it will be, and I haven't even read it. And then just go back.
I've already got your intro. There's something rotten at DC. You know, and it's Poison Ivy's butt. There's the intro to the video.
No, Poison Ivy
This,
smells
you know
like smells like roses. Remember?
You could make a nice YouTube short out of this.
She's
You
a
know,
vegan, right?
there you go. Get a good like 30 seconds.
Guys, do you remember when comics were exciting? Do you guys remember being excited for stuff? I missed that.
So, who was it? Somebody was asking. Daniel Ebbs, like, are you the Chris Condon guy now, Dylan? You just read all of his books?
Yeah, I've been enjoying everything Chris Condon's doing. Like, yeah. So
Very nice.
I'd say he's pretty solid.
Dion says Luther was president in the OG Hush. Joker never recorded Jason's death, and Talia was only Bruce's lover. How does it fit in with this issue? I.e., all the continuity errors, Dylan, that you're fucking ignoring. Trying to call this a good comic book.
Who cares?
Well,
We've
as
got
Simon Kinberg, the architect of many of Fox's X-Men movies, would tell you, continuity is the hobgoblin of small minds.
In fairness, at least the Luther president during OG Hush, they could, you have New 52 and Rebirth since then, so they've had a handful of continuity changes.
Yes, we've had a handful of continuity changes, and also remember we just had an event with Absolute Power where AI tricked the entire world into thinking all heroes were bad. Easily could have made an AI video of Jason Todd Robin dying. There you go. That's what's in the back. So he didn't record it, but that's what he made. Boom. There you go. Fixed it.
I love when events are based on Mark Waid's Boogeyman.
That was so stupid. The entire world, Superman's bad guy now because I saw an AI video.
In a world, doing an AI video, like making it AI in a world where you already have illusions, you have magic, you have every other possible like this is why it's always stupid when in these superhero universes, you get somebody like Wade, and this is his current boogeyman that he's worried about, and he's going to tell a story about it, and it's like, okay, but it doesn't make sense in the context of the universe that you're telling it in.
But Dylan, didn't Jeff Johns make everyone hate Superman in the beginning of Doomsday Clock? Everyone turned on him.
Well, that made sense. That wasn't with AI, with the way he was doing that, because he made it seem like Superman wasn't organic, like he was something from the government, and it was trying to be like, wait, this whole time, this is how Superman was established. It was just part of this like Superman project and blah blah blah. It was like, oh, I could see how you could like sow that seed of distrust. Where in this, it was just like AI, where it's like, yeah, to where in Absolute Power, it's just like, here's this video of this person acting completely different than you've ever seen before, but you're going to believe it for some reason. Every single person on the planet believes these AI videos.
And how many times has Glorious Godfrey been able to turn people against the superheroes with propaganda? And we know how effective propaganda works because we all lived through COVID. So we've all seen it like in real life and in real time, and you see all the things that are being revealed now and all the propaganda that people have bought into. So it works in Doomsday Clock. It doesn't work with Mark Waid's stupid terror over AI.
Yeah.
Nerd says, can you hotshot comics like a Ghost Machine, or do you have to wait 20 years? you do not have to wait 20 years. The Walking Dead became a phenomenon within like 5 years, right?
Yeah. But you need
you can't hot shot a comic book non-organically. It has to be readers pushing it.
Well, you can hot shot the first issue.
Yes.
But then if you want it to maintain, you have to develop consistency and demonstrate it. It's always been that way.
Mark McGrath says that the book has more consequences of DC treating their continuity like an Etch-a-Sketch, and I think that is the perfect analogy.
Yeah. So yeah. I don't think that you can just pour money into something and hot shot a comic book with the audience that it is. It has to be good and it has to grow organically. You can certainly pop a number to generate some headlines, but long term, that is going to be but a blip on the radar. Next up, we've got Mr. Sparrow. Are you recommending comic books this week, dude?
Well, I have not, aside from the doing the homework and reading the Fartacular and reading Batman, reading the digital comic of Hush, I have not picked up any. I've not been to the comic store to pick up my books.
You didn't read the Solomon Kane?
I did not read the Solomon Kane yet because you didn't have it. I knew we wouldn't get to it, so I was like, okay, well, I don't have to read that yet. I am excited to read that one. I want to actually sit down, but I want a physical copy of that one because that's one I actually am interested in buying. So I'm going to recommend that everybody go pick up Kneel Before Doomface. I'm going to do a little shilling here because we are going to be wrapping that pretty soon. So if you've not jumped in on it yet, the link is in the description. I'm also going to throw a link in the description for Aftermath. This is a book by Dolan, aka Drew, one of our channel members here that I did the editing on. It did go to print with one of the caption boxes missing because I didn't get the lettering draft approval. So that got missed. But otherwise, except for that small error, which will be corrected in future editions, it is an absolutely fantastic book. If you guys remember the old Thundar the Barbarian cartoon, where a runaway planet hurtles between the Earth and the Moon, unleashing cosmic destruction. And then, millions of years later, Earth is reborn as a world of science and super sorcery. What if you didn't have to wait millions of years? What if the results of that meteor were instantaneous and everything went to shit immediately, and then you got to see the immediate aftermath? That is kind of the concept of this book, and I think Drew's really delivering on it. So I've thrown that link into the description. Please check that out over at Comic Kingdom Creative.
Comic Book Muscle wants to know, are you going to attend WonderCon in Anaheim this weekend?
No WonderCon for me this weekend. I decided to skip it this year. My ankle is still a little bit, it's gotten better, but it's still a little bit tender. So the idea of hoofing it around WonderCon was not super appealing.
There we go. Sorry about that. Sully, are you recommending any books?
I got a stack of funny books that I bought at my local comic book shop this very week. I got Mike Barron's Badger, issue number 3. It's good to see him on the new release shelf, so I will support Mike Barron. I got Green Lantern 21, Superman number 24. They were, good art, but the story is kind of like someone said it earlier. Green Lantern's really crowded right now, and so is Superman. I mean, yeah. So both stories are bogged down by their cast. Ultimate Spider-Man number 15, decent issue. I think it supports my theory of this as being the Sopranos of comics, because it's like it has its own pacing, and it's just it's a lot of talking going on, and a father-son team-up fight, and with Ultimate Sandman, it's okay. But my picks of the week: G.I. Joe 315 and Incredible Hulk 23, with great art by Nick Klein. This is what I'm talking about. Nick Klein, once a month, he posts a link to his auction house, and I am so close to picking up some original art by him. It just has to have
trigger,
dude. I mean, just so they're a little pricey, but they're not going to get any cheaper either. So I just have to be in that right position. It's going to be the right page. Have all that onomatopoeia, all that sound effects that he draws by hand in the panel. And I want
the one where Hulk shrinks down to Banner and it looks absolutely horrifyingly.
But it's a basic story. But it's elevated by the exceptional art, and I would call the story less than basic. It was a disappointment, but the art was so phenomenal. It's worth reading. I thought the ending was interesting because I've never seen Hulk transform into Banner to spite Banner, kind of, you know what I mean? Like he's like to kind of punish
despite
Charlie. Yeah, despite Charlie, it was just like, oh, here, you want Banner, you can have him. Here you go. I was like, oh, that's an interesting twist and a great transformation scene too. So the art in this was killer. And yeah, so that's what I picked up this week. And I go to my local comic book shop and I pick these up every week. The only way we will save comics is we have to show up and buy them at our local comic book shops. Cheers and thanks.
Gian followed up and says, I looked it up. Only top tier writers at DC earn $6,250 to $10,000 in a month. I believe you're probably correct on that. There's not many people with exclusive DC deals even anymore. I think Tom Taylor and Jeremy Adams are the only ones I know of. So
good. They can keep
she's
Tom
certainly
Taylor
not anywhere close to that. Yeah,
keep Tom Taylor as long as they want.
You don't want him back on X-Men?
No.
Yeah,
Bigot
it's time for him to
Mustard
go
or
back to
whatnot?
X-Men.
I don't want him writing like the fucking. I don't want him writing napkins.
I think he's ready for Spider-Man, to be honest. It's,
Tom King's X-Men.
no, Tom Taylor's X-Men.
I don't want him writing the product list on the garbage bag.
It's not about you, Doc. Speaking of Doc, are you going to recommend any comic books this week?
I am going to recommend that people go check out, because we gave y'all a double review this week. There will be 2 reviews up for Fantastic Four number 30 and for X-Man Hunt Omega number 1, because apparently it needed a number. Go check out those reviews. Fucking, I don't hate them as much as I hated that fucking bug book last week. I don't want to ever.
Good.
Yeah, I don't care about the bug fucker book. So
It's not confirmed that he screwed any bugs in that.
I'm
book.
guaranteeing Daddy screwed some bugs.
Maybe.
But instead, we will go with my recommend. All right, so we went new toys. So I don't like these new boxes for the Marvel Legends figures.
Yeah, and don't love them.
I really don't. I like the kind of curved side boxes. I mean, I guess these technically will fit better on a shelf, but whatever. Then I went to an actual comic convention and I went and started buying some books. I bought some old books. In fact, I needed this is the direct edition. I needed a direct edition of Uncanny 266. So first Gambit, technically second Gambit, because Uncanny X-Men Annual number 10, 14. I don't remember which one it was. The one that was part of Days of Future Present that has fucking Ahab on the cover. That actually came out like 2 weeks before this issue. So and Gambit is in there like for like 5 panels, and he talks. So technically that's the first appearance, but this came out continuity wise before it. Then we will go with Amazing Spider-Man. What is this? 289? Yeah. This is the first appearance of, like, I don't know, like the 7th Hobgoblin, Jason Macendale, which is a Hobgoblin I forgot existed. So, yeah, it's another Hobgoblin.
Well, do you ever, I mean, I remember the classic line that lives like rent free in my head is when he goes to sell his soul to Nashtir during Inferno because he just got whooped by Harry Osborn as the Green Goblin with no powers and Spider-Man, and he's like, he offers Nashtir his soul, and Nashtir starts laughing and says, like, your soul, have you looked at it lately? It's such a pathetic thing, but you made me laugh, and that is worth something. Your soul. It gives him powers.
So, yeah, this is first appearance of a Hobgoblin. And then I just love this cover. Amazing Spider-Man 66. Early appearance of Mysterio. This might be like his, I don't know, third, fourth appearance. But I just love this cover. And it's got this awesome date stamp.
Oh.
August 14th. So, yeah. This it's a classic cover and I love it. So, yep, pick this up too. So, those are my recommendations.
Nice.
Well, very nice. I think we had a really nice show today. Had a lot of fun.
Wicked
Can't wait
pepper.
to get the crew back together again next weekend. Have a little bit of a good time. Anybody got any big plans? You watching the UFC, Dylan? Was it a big show?
It's not any big pay-per-view, no. And I already saw the movie this week, so
Well, you could go
kinda
see
chill
Snow
this
White.
weekend. No, I did see Princess Mononoke. That got re-released in IMAX, so that was cool to see.
But you
Is the last
you
unicorn?
could read the Fartacular.
Could.
Read the
That is one
Fartacular.
way to spend one's time, but I think
That is a
I'll pass.
thing that could
Dylan,
be
Dylan,
done.
don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it, Dylan.
Join us, Dylan.
you know what? I was close, but Aaron just convinced me.
Don't do it.
All right, everybody.
See you
Have a great
Scott.
weekend. We'll see y'all around.
See you later.
Get out.
There's two